Oh, look, there she is. Stephanie Lazarus with a big hat on. What is this? Police graduation? 1983. Ooh. Ooh. Got yourself a badge, have you? Big man with a badge and a gun. Yeah, there she is, huh? I got a bunch of pictures of Stephanie Lazarus to show you guys. You know, personally, I'm guessing that this is 1983 at her graduation or something like that. You know, when they give you your badge and everything. But for me personally, I would have known just from this picture that she was trouble, right? Definitely watch this one. Don't give her a firearm. No. Don't give her any authority over the common man at all. She's not to be trusted. She's a danger to herself and others. Okay, it's clear from this photo. But what kind of restrictions could we put in place for that? You know, if you're going to judge people based on the fact that you're looking at them and see that they have psycho in their eyes and written all across their forehead, is that discrimination? I mean, who's making those decisions? I think it should be me. I suppose everyone thinks it should be them. Let's see what else we've got here. There's a pic. Oh yeah, here's one. Look, another one. I mean, I know it's the 80s, okay? But all right, how do we change this one? Okay, wait. I know it's the 80s, all right? But again, I would know something was very, very wrong with this woman. Why didn't the LAPD think they should look into her? Oh, and here she is with the man himself. We haven't really gotten into the story, but I'm counting on most of you being familiar with it. Maybe we should start telling the story now. So this is John Rutten, right? Stephanie and John Rutten. Who is John Rutten? Who is Stephanie Lazarus? Well, they both went to UCLA in, I think they graduated in 1980. And they had a relationship. They had a sort of like on again, off again, friends with benefits, you know, college, touchy-feely relationship. But Stephanie clearly got enamored. And then after college, they split, right? It was just like a college fling thing. And Stephanie went and became a cop. John Rutten went to do something else. And then John Rutten got married. But Stephanie Lazarus didn't know John Rutten got married, did she? And she threw a big surprise birthday, 25th birthday surprise party for John Rutten. And at that party, learned that he had since gotten married. Or he was just about to get married. I think that's what it was. He was engaged to a lovely thing, whereas Sherri Rasmussen. Okay, just one more picture of Stephanie before we get going. What is wrong with this woman? Here she is in her what do you call it? Mortarboard. All right, it's a little bit blurry. It's an old picture. It's 45 years old. But again, what's the deal? I don't know. And here's Sherri. Now, I mean, she looks way better, right? A nice person, hot. You can see why. And now I just don't know about this John Rutten. Every picture we see of him, he looks like this. Hang on. He's one of those cardboard cutout people, you know. You don't need to go on holiday with him. You can just take a picture of what he looks like and then take a photograph of that picture of him in tropical places. You know, he's always got this sort of half jaunty smile on his face. You know, obviously thinks he's a ladies' man. He's got 2 women after him, probably more. So anyway, Stephanie thought that there was going to be some rekindling thing, and she threw a surprise birthday. A surprise birthday party, is that ever a good idea? I think someone's done that for me at least once, and I hated it. I was like, what is this? Why is everyone in my house? And you can't leave yourself. You have to stay there. It's like you're a hostage, you know, in your own house. And you have to look like you're having a great time. I found it like super passive aggressive, you know. I always find it's interesting to look at pictures of killers when they were children. Here's one of Stephanie when she was very, very young. Look at her there. Can I zoom in on this? I don't think I can, unfortunately. But there she is. And that's not my dad, obviously. That's someone's dad. 1972. So she was 12 years old here. So where were we in the story, guys? Yeah, Stephanie wanted to be with John. John was engaged to Sherri. Stephanie would start to make things really uncomfortable. Like she'd show up to the house and say, "Oh, John, do you mind if you just fix my skis, my water skis? Because I'm going water skiing, and you can come if you like." You know, doing all of this stuff, just always around. You know, not respecting the bounds of the relationship and just like pushing it, you know. And I think she knew that John had a weak spot for her because he slept with her, didn't he? Now, as far as John will tell it, he slept with Stephanie to give her one last time, you know, for closure, to help her close the book and finally be able to break free of the wonder that is him. And he chose to do that by sleeping with her one more time. You know, nothing to do with his own needs. No. This was for her, so that she could move on and have a clean break. Good one, John. Shouldn't have done that, John. You know, because you know what happened then is that Stephanie showed up to, bearing in mind, she's already LAPD law enforcement, right? She's giving Sherri these weird looks while she's holding her gun from across the room. And then she shows up at Sherri's work. Now, Sherri works at the hospital, right? She's a nurse. And let's go back to the picture of Sherri. Where's Sherri? She's a nurse. And Stephanie... Those names sound familiar, don't they? I kind of get them confused. Stephanie shows up at Sherri's work and has basically a fist fight with her in the hospital while she's dressed in an evening gown, right? Full hair and makeup, evening dress, heels, the lot. Shows up at the hospital and basically starts saying, "John's mine," and He'll never love you the way he loved me, and threatening her life and all this stuff. And there's all witnesses to this, right? Anyway, soon after that, Sherri gets found dead in the apartment she shared with John. And, you know, the LAPD, they look into it. Oh, by the way, we're heading west today, guys. We're going all the way to California. It's the days of 49, and we're in a rush for some gold, okay? Heading over to California today. I think it's our first time in the Golden State, and one of many to come. It's going to be a long, long time we spend in that state. Anyway, yeah, the LAPD look into it, but, you know, they saw that there was... in the house, someone had left a CD player and a VCR stacked next to the front door. So the cops were like, "Oh, well, that's clear indication of a burglary, and this must be a case of a burglary gone wrong." Probably Mexicans. Probably classic Mexicans. Yeah, they love CD players and VCRs. Probably going to send it back across the border to TJ where they'll melt it down for parts. That's what they do, the Mexicans, you see. Yeah, they pretty quickly said it was a burglary gone wrong. Now, even John Rutten started to say to the cops, LAPD, and Sherri's parents, because Sherri had confided in with her parents, saying, hey, this chick, this cop, she's jealous of John, and I think she's following me, and I think it might be a problem. And then she ends up dead, brutally murdered. I mean, let's go through her murder in a second. But so John and the parents go to the LAPD and say, hey, look, are you looking into Stephanie Lazarus, that person who's a cop with your agency, an LAPD patrol officer? Could it be her? They said, oh, you watch too much TV. So she wasn't investigated. They did get some DNA because this is how she killed her, right? There was a massive fight in the house and all stuff knocked over. Sherri's face was bashed in with the butt of a gun and she was bitten. There was a bite mark on her arm with DNA, woman's DNA. I don't know if they found that out in the 80s or later when the DNA was tested. But it was a pretty horrible, and then she was shot, I think, 3 times with the pillow used as a silencer, So the case went cold. No one was arrested. Probably Mexicans, probably burglary, CD player, VCR stacked by the front door. That's a clear indication of a Mexican burglary. So case closed. And I think there had been some other burglaries in the area that, the cops were just like, we don't have time for this. But fast forward in time, everyone's moved on. Oh, yeah. Well, Sherri got with John again and they went to Hawaii together. But that wasn't for a few years after the killing. And it didn't really, I think that was in 1989. Killing was in 86. Hawaii with John and Stephanie, 89. And then Stephanie got married to someone else in 92. So that was just 6 years after the murder. So that was worth it, wasn't it? Nothing happened. Nothing changed, really. You went on holiday with him once. Anyway, the case went cold. And years later, in the early 2000s, the LAD had freed up. There was no more crime. Hallelujah, there was no more crime in Los Angeles. So the bosses of LAPD were like, okay, we're going to put some officers on these cold cases and see what you can do. See if there's new tests. See if you can find anything in the evidence, and we'll try and prosecute some of the old cases because we've got so much time on our hands because there's no more crime in Los Angeles. So they got to this case file and they found that there had been new DNA developments in the testing. So they did a rerun of the analysis of the DNA that was found at the scene and they got a full match of a person. Whereas before they'd either only been able to discern it was human or a female woman, but they couldn't say who. And then they looked through the file, and in the file was loads of stuff about, hey, that Stephanie Lazarus was really suspicious, and she was jealous, and she came to the hospital and made this big scene and was making threats against Sherri's life, and blah, 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 blah. So they were like, okay, well, let's see if we could match the DNA to Stephanie's DNA. And how did they get her DNA? Because they can't request it because Stephanie might think something's up, right? So they send a cop to follow her, and they follow her to a shopping mall where Stephanie Lazarus buys a drink with a straw, a big gulp or whatever. And the cop follows her, and Stephanie discards this paper cup with a straw in the trash can. The cop that's following her picks up that cup and puts it in a little plastic bag, an evidence bag, right, sealed, sends it to the lab. It's an exact match to the DNA that was found on the bite mark at the scene of Sherri Rasmussen's murder. How about that, huh? So They want to get Stephanie Lazarus to speak about this case on record, right? Now, they can't go up to her and say, hey, do you mind coming and answering some questions about that murder of the everyone said you were jealous about your ex who married someone else and then she ended up dead? Do you want to come and answer some questions about that? Because we found your DNA and we've got you. You know, if they do that, she's going to lawyer up immediately, right? She's a long-term detective. And by the way, she's no longer a patrol officer. She's risen through the ranks. She's a highly decorated law enforcement person, detective, whatever, of art theft crime. The fine arts forgery department is her department. She owns that department. There's a picture of her like holding a Picasso that she got back for the collector or something. Yeah, I didn't even know they had a fine arts division in the LAPD, but hey ho, we learn every day. So they have to get her to speak on record under some ruse, right? So they say, hey, Stephanie, we've got we're running a case about an art theft, and because you're the main guy around here about all things art theft, could you maybe come and have a look at some of the evidence with us and tell us what you would do? Because this would be really big for our career if we could get this guy. So they say, okay, because the nature of the information is quite delicate, let's go and speak somewhere private. Now, where could we go that's really private and like a soundproof room? Hey, how about we all just go down to the interrogation offices? Because those rooms are designed to be private, right? Yeah, we'll all go and sit in there. So the reason they do that is because they want to get Sherri to give up her gun, which apparently in this police station, it's policy that if you anyone going in to the interrogation area gives up their gun at the door and puts it in a little locker for security reasons, right? Now, we know that they don't do that in other states. We see Sarah Boone, Scott Lowen's got his gun in the interrogation room. We see Chandler Halderson, Detective Shunk has his gun in the interrogation room. So I don't know if it's a California thing or an LAPD thing or what, but apparently in this interrogation office, you cannot have a gun because they don't want her to have a gun, because if they corner her and say, well, we know the murder was you and you're going away to jail for the rest of your life, and all of this little life that you've made for yourself, this risen through the ranks LAP detective, all this stuff, you in the newspaper with the mayor, that's all going away today, and you're going to the county jail awaiting trial where you'll be certainly found guilty and maybe sentenced to death. So they don't want her to have a gun when they bring her this news to her, right? And of course, the interrogation camera is just in a bag. It's a secret camera, so she doesn't know she's being filmed. And I don't believe she ever she doesn't, sometimes they look at the camera, don't they? Like we saw that with Dalia DiPolito, where she looked at the camera like 18 times when she's in the car with that undercover cop going, I'm 5,000% sure. Yeah, no, I definitely want you to kill my husband. So how much will that cost? Yeah, no, it was a script. It was all part of a script. Well, sadly, there is no script for Stephanie Lazarus. She is coming into this. She hasn't thought about this in years, right? It's been 23 years. As far as she's concerned, she is free and clear, right? Doesn't even need to have a story in her head because it was 1,000,000 years ago, right? As she will tell us. Anyway, I think that's enough of an introduction. It's just off the top of my head. I was going to go through the case and make notes. I even got a pad of paper here and a pen. You know what it says on the pad of paper? It's got 2 words at the top of the page. It says Stephanie Lazarus. That's my note-taking. I've got to get better at that. But, we will. Anyway, without further ado. Welcome everybody in the chat. Yeah, let's go and play that puppy. How do we play that puppy? We click this, and we click this, and we click this.
I'm not sure. Stephanie, I don't know if you know my partner.
Hey, great.
Hi.
Stearns, nice to meet you.
See you guys.
Well, thanks so much, Mary, for that beautiful coffee. I'm having a coffee right now. It's a little cold. I might put some more boiling water in there. Thank you, though, Mary. That's very much appreciated.
How's it going?
Good.
So these cops are so friendly when it... Hey, how's it going? Oh, you work in fine arts department? That's fantastic. We're running a fine arts case. That's why we want to talk to you. We want your expertise. You know, they kind of butter her up. Really make her feel comfortable, you know. It's such a hunt, you know. It's such a hunt.
Around. Well, have a seat. What this is I didn't want to bring this up in your...
But, you know, straight away there, as soon as she sits in the interrogation chair, she's thinking something might be up, right? Look at her face there. I think she's just been, like, totally just caught in the spider web, right? Nothing, there's no appropriate line of action she has.
Milling around. Well, have a seat. What this is I didn't want to bring this up in your squadron. Oh.
Quick head movements, assessing the threats. It's probably all subconscious at this stage.
No, it's fine. I think we're good.
Recorder to under this term.
What is that? She wants it recorded. Honey, you don't want this recorded, believe me. This is going to haunt you until the day you die.
You're going to bring somebody in, right?
Yeah, well, I can explain the whole thing to you.
Fine.
I don't want to talk about this in the squadron because
okay.
I don't know who people are listening.
That's true.
And if we go to my side, everybody's always wondering what everybody else is
sure,
doing.
no problem.
Okay. But like we're talking about being busy and stuff, we've been assigned a case that we've been looking at.
Okay.
It's a new case, and reviewing the case, there's some notes to see as far as your name being mentioned.
Okay.
Do you know John Rutan?
John Rutan. John Rutan?
Rutan.
Oh, you know, I'm sure everyone has heard this from other channels, other fantastic channels that are either better than mine or just as good. You know, but they ask her the name wrong, right? They say, his name is John Rutan. That's how you pronounce it, John Rutan. And they say, do you know John Rutan? And she's like, Rutan. John Rutan, Rutan, John Rutan. And tests were done, and they, you know, there wouldn't be any pause. This is a major person in her life, very important figure in her developmental period of existence, and she would just go instantly, John Rutan? I know a John Rutan. You mean John Rutan? It's pronounced Rutan, okay? It's such a clever tactic that they do. They're great with the tactics. These two cops that interview Stephanie Lazarus are really good at their job.
Right.
Oh, yeah, I went to school with him.
You did?
Yeah.
How long did you know him?
Let's see it again, because it's such a good moment. It just sets the tone. It sets the tone.
And stuff. We've been assigned a case that we've been looking at.
Okay.
It's a new case, and reviewing the case, there's some notes to see as far as your name being mentioned.
Okay.
Do you know John Rutan?
John Rutan. John Rutan?
Rutan.
Oh, yeah, I went to school with him.
You did?
Yeah.
How long did you know him?
Gosh, I went to school in, let's see, went to UCLA in 1978 I started, and, you know, met him at school at the dorms.
Were you guys friends, close friends?
Yeah, we're very close friends. I mean, what's this all about?
Well,
yeah, we were super close. We were super close, naked friends.
It's a case we're working on, and it involves John, and in there...
I think at this stage, as a cop, should go, oh, is this about his wife that was murdered, that was never solved, that I know about because I'm a cop? You know, what's this all about? You said you were going to talk to me about art, and now you're talking to me about someone I went to school with 1,000,000 years ago.
The statements we reviewed, you know, there's notes and stuff that he knew you and stuff.
Oh, yeah, I mean, we were good friends. lived in the dorms for 2 years.
You guys lived in the same dorm?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Dijkstra.
Okay. Were you guys just friends or anything else, or?
Yeah, we were good friends.
Yeah. Was there ever any relationship or anything that developed between you guys?
Yeah, I mean, we dated. You know, I mean, what's this all about?
Well, it's relating to his wife.
Okay.
Okay. Did you know her?
Yeah, it's relating to his wife. You know, that pesky, unsolved murder from 23 years ago. You know You remember the brutal homicide that just lay unsolved and was blamed on Mexican burglars that didn't exist? Yeah, it's about that. Okay, that's what we want to talk to you about. Okay, so now you're here, we're here, and we're talking about this.
Not really. I mean, I knew that he got married years ago.
Did you ever meet her?
God, I don't know.
Do you know who she was or anything?
Well, let me think. God, it's been a long time ago.
Yeah, it's been 23 years, right, Stephanie? Do you know her? You don't remember her, do you? You don't remember barging into the hospital in an evening dress, threatening to kill a nurse, do you? Do you remember that? Oh, gee, I don't know.
I may have met her. Geez, you know.
Yeah. Well, let me see. Let me ask you. You said you dated John. How long did you guys date?
I mean, are you guys? Is this something? I mean, you said I was going to interview somebody about art, and how you guys are.
Here's
I mean,
Stephanie, here's the situation. It's basically, we knew that this, when we saw this in this chrono, that maybe there was some relationship there. That's what the chrono seemed to indicate, and we didn't want to come up to you at your desk and ask those kinds of questions or do anything. You know how up there people can see what's going on if you go into an interview room or people are in there getting supplies.
Okay. I mean,
so we wanted to afford you some privacy, some confidentiality to talk about this, because we thought it might be, something, you're married to someone else, obviously, and so forth, and that you may not want to, talk about these things in that setting where someone, we don't want the rumor mill or gossip or any of that kind of stuff to start.
That's fine. I mean,
so we're
What a great cover, huh? Yeah, you're married to someone else, and the rumor mill, it's hard to stop that mill once it gets going, and then people talk. So this is all really for you, Stephanie, okay? We're affording you some privacy, okay? Okay, Stephanie?
We did this just as a means to try and speak to you in just a confidential place where where your business isn't out there for other people in your division to know about.
God, that's been a million years ago. I mean, what year is it now? 2009. I mean, I graduated in 82. 82, yeah.
We get a wonderful autobiography of Stephanie Lazarus during this interrogation. We get the full history of Stephanie Lazarus during this interrogation. She graduated in 82. She was born in 1960. Her first car was a 1968 Chevy Chevelle. Hey, thanks so much, Christina. That is a sweet cup.
We dated. I dated other guys. I'm sure he dated other girls.
She did date other guys. In fact, she dated every single member of the Los Angeles Fire Department, as she will tell us. She was a real floozy.
Let me ask you, roughly how long would you say you guys dated?
Oh, jeez. I couldn't even say. I mean, I started...
Well, it wasn't really a dating relationship, it was just... sexy... you want a ball kind of relationship, that's it.
School there in 78. I started UCLA in 1978. I graduated in 82. I don't even remember what year he graduated, if it was a year or two before me.
Okay.
I think he was a little bit older than I was. I mean, I can't remember if he was born, let's say I'm born in 1960. I don't know if he was born in 58 or 59.
What the fuck is she talking about? The question was, how long did you date John? I was born in 1960. I don't know if he was born in 1958 or 57. He could have been born in 59. I started UCLA in 1978. I graduated in 1982. What is she doing? She's just buying some breathing space to think. And what? I mean, she's trying to camouflage herself with all this extra information and also feign ignorance. I mean, they've told her that it's relating to John Rutten and specifically his wife, and she still doesn't know what they're talking about. She knows that that woman was murdered, and she knows that the case is unsolved for 23 years. It's clearly, what do you think it's going to be about? We've discovered that Sherri Rasmussen had an unpaid parking ticket from 1985. Do you know anything about that, Stephanie?
I mean, I knew his parents. I knew his sister. His brother went to Northridge.
His brother went to Northridge? Why are you telling us this? How long did you date? His brother went to Northridge. I think that was in 1979. He loved tacos. Every Monday was Taco Monday for his brother in Northridge. It was the Northridge Taco Wing Fraternity.
His sister spent the night at my house before. Obviously, I spent the night at his house before. He probably spent the night at my house before. I don't.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, because from what you're telling me, is you guys dated while you were in college together, right?
Yeah, and probably after college. I can't. Geez, trying to think when I met my husband. I met my husband in
92.
Scott. Let's see. I was teaching.
Man, I know her life story better than her.
Because I met Scott when I was teaching DARE up in Oregon, but we had long stopped, dating before that.
So you haven't talked to him for a long time?
Oh, I think I haven't talked to him in a long time. I couldn't even tell you when the last time I talked to him. I met Scott, I'm thinking in 92 maybe, April of 92. It was
Scott being your husband.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I was teaching DARE. Let's see, what year is this? We'll be married. I got married in 1996. I think I met Scott in 92. Prior to that, I couldn't tell you how long I had talked to John prior to that.
But since you met your husband, Scott, you hadn't talked to him?
I mean, he may have called me once or twice before we got married.
Right.
Geez, I moved to Simi in 1994 because I lost my house in the earthquake.
Oh, really?
I lost my house in the earthquake, so feel sorry for me.
Quite honestly, I probably keep in contact with a few people from the dorms. We all lived on the 10th floor, and there's about 3 or 4 people I keep in contact with. There's probably like 6 or 8 of us that were all really close.
Mm-hmm. And who are those people?
Oh, geez. Diana Basta. The people I still keep. I haven't been in contact with her in a long time. Mm-hmm. I mean, what's this all about? I mean.
Well, let me ask you, what ended the relationship between you and John?
I don't. It was kind of a weird relationship. I mean, we dated.
Yeah, casual, pretty casual.
I can't say that he was my boyfriend. I don't know that he would consider me his girlfriend. We dated. We did things. I played sports in college. He played basketball. His brother played basketball. It just didn't work out. I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
God, I can imagine this woman playing sports, wanting to beat all the men and taking it real serious, foul ball every dirty trick in the book. Anything to win. She's a fucking psycho.
Oh, yeah, it was like, I went out with
It's just a game, Stephanie.
other guys, saw other guys, I went on lots of vacations, you know.
And once you guys split, were you guys still friends, or kind of, you know,
I mean,
problems?
Yeah, we were kind of... John was definitely... after he suspected that I brutally murdered his wife. He was kind of like... But then we went to Hawaii, the Big Island, because I was doing my scuba diving training, and he was still a little bit like...
Friendly, not friendly?
no, I don't think it was not friendly. I mean, we were friendly. I know that we went to Hawaii at one point. Another friend of mine who's actually dying right now went to Hawaii with us at some.
And everyone she mentions is either dying or dead. It's kind of worrying when we're dealing with a psycho killer that can, you know, I don't know.
Point.
Remember roughly when that was?
Geez, let me think. I'd have to check my pictures, or I'd...
Okay, we need a bell. We need a special bell. Check my pictures. Bell. Ring, ring. Ring, ring. How do we make a bell on the stream? Okay, maybe next time. But yeah, that's one. I am going to do a tally on this sheet of paper. And at the end of the stream, we will reveal how many times her pictures are mentioned.
I'd say I'd ask Greg, but my friend Greg is like dying of liver cancer right now.
Okay, we've got another tally for friend deaths or dying, decedent friends and dying friends.
Yeah, I mean,
And you were saying that
it's 2009 now.
Had you ever met his wife?
I may have.
Do you remember her name?
That's such a yes. That's such a yes. That's such a yes, but I don't feel like I want to clarify that at the moment. You know, I may have. Maybe. It could be possible that I did meet his wife and show up at her work, which was a hospital, wearing an evening dress and threaten her life. I may have. What?
Or anything, or or what she did for a living, or where she worked, or...
And you'd think, after... I mean, at this stage, she's been a cop for 26 years. That is a full career. You know, Isom, at the point of retiring, was 28 and a half years. General Isom. You know, I'm sure a lot of cops call it quits after 26 years. That is a lengthy, you know, for cop lifespan. That's pretty much it. A true veteran of the police world. You'd think after all of those years of experience, she would know not to do 400 million badly acted facial expressions like well, I don't know. I don't. It was a long time ago. What?
Anything about her?
Well, I think I'm going to say that I think she was a nurse. Man, I can't even remember how he said he met her. I mean, it's been so long ago.
Well, let me ask you, did you go to their wedding, you know?
No, I didn't go to their wedding. No, did not go to their wedding.
Yeah, I thought about crashing the wedding and bursting through the doors at the back of the church right as the priest or whatever reads the line, if anyone knows of a reason these two should not be joined in matrimony, speak now or forever hold your peace. Yes, I did fantasize about just booting in the door at that point and and declaring my undying love for John, but I didn't go. And I wasn't invited.
Couldn't even tell you what year he got married. I mean, you know, it's been a million years ago.
You ever remember if you ever talked to her? Because it seems like a lot of you who were at the school at UCLA, you guys kind of were...
And the way she said that, I couldn't even tell you what year he got married. You know, what she's doing there is saying, see, I can't remember that date. So how could you expect me to remember whether or not I ever met Sherri Rasmussen or showed up at the hospital wearing an evening dress and threatened her life? I don't remember. I don't know. I may have.
Friends during and after school, so I don't know if you guys still associated afterwards once he was married or anything.
With him?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I would say, you know, the people that were on the dorm floor, we'd have get-togethers. There's probably like 4 or 5. I don't think he ever came. Yeah, I don't think. No, it was mostly girls. You know, a girl named Smita, Diane. There's 2 Dianes, but the one Diane, I don't think she ever came. I kind of lost contact with her.
Hey, we've got our very own Diane in this group, this family, this Metrics family. Where's riding shotgun? I don't think she's here tonight, folks. She'll be back. She's our very own household Diane.
We were good friends on the floor. Yeah, I mean, I don't, you know, again, I mean, what, you know, I don't understand why you're talking about some guy.
Could you please just...
I dated a million years ago.
Well, do you know what happened to his wife?
Yeah, I know she got killed.
What did you...
Oh, look at the fear in the eyes there.
I mean, what...
Well, you know, you're gonna have to vocalize it sooner or later, Stephanie.
You know, I don't understand why you're talking about some guy I dated a million years ago.
Well, do you know what happened to his wife?
Yeah, I know she got killed.
That's the point, isn't it? You know what she looks like? She looks like an animal that's been cornered by a bigger animal that's going to eat it.
What did you hear about that?
I saw a poster at work. I'm sure
I could have seen a poster at work. I could have seen it on the news, or I could have maybe John said something. Couldn't tell you. Don't know.
I spoke to him about it. I think I spoke to another friend of his about it.
And how did you first learn about that?
You'd imagine that she would speak to John about it, huh? You know, you're a cop, and his wife was murdered. It'd be weird if you didn't speak about it.
Jeez. I think I spoke...
Oh, here we go with the first actual genuine recognition.
To another friend of his about it.
And how?
What's the question?
How did you first learn about that?
Jeez.
Well, I guess that's not actual recollection, is it? Because she knows the answer to that is I first learnt about it when I took my finger off the trigger.
Someone could have called me. I could have heard it at work. I think at one point there may have been a flyer or something. I know a good friend of his...
Were you on the job back then when that happened?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'm sure I was on the job. That's why I would have heard about it with the flyer. He had a good friend, Mike Boldrick.
She thinks she's now like in this memory game. Mike, he had a good friend, Mike Boldrick or Beatnik or something Ballick.
Anyways, he may have lived in the dorms. I don't remember if that's how I met him. I may have talked to him. I mean, you know, I don't remember how I heard. I mean, I don't even remember what year it was.
And you think you said you thought his wife was a nurse. Do you have any idea
It was 1986, Stephanie.
where she was working at the time, or did he ever mention that to you? Was it a hospital or a doctor's office?
I'm sure he must have mentioned it. Now that you're bringing that up, I think she worked at a hospital somewhere. And
Yeah, I think she worked at a hospital somewhere. I wonder if she ever went back to that same hospital, you know, after she stormed in there in full evening wear and threatened the life of a nurse. John loves me! Oh. You know, in front of a load of witnesses, presumably doctors and other medical staff. Did she ever go back to that same hospital as a patient? Or, you know, cops are in hospitals sometimes, right? If they have to get a statement from a assault victim or a rape victim or something like that, you know. There she is, the crazy cop.
yeah, I may have met her at a hospital. I may have talked to her once or twice.
At a hospital?
Or more. You know.
But being that you were kind of used to see John, you know, was everything okay between you guys? I mean, there was never anything uncomfortable or anything between you and her?
You know, I don't know. I mean, it's been so many years. I mean, uncomfortable. I mean, I can't even remember if we had a conversation. I mean, we may have. I may have seen her at his apartment. You know, geez, how many years ago was that? I don't even know what year she, you know, got killed.
Where was his apartment?
On Roscoe.
Okay.
Yeah, Roscoe and east or west of DeSoto. Either east or west of DeSoto.
Do you know where he moved after?
Okay. We're ready for part one of the massive metrics revelations tonight, guys. I need to bring up a picture. Hang on. Now, does anybody know hang on, just 2 seconds, guys. I think that's it. Okay, does anybody know who these guys are? Okay? Let us know in the comments. Where are the comments? Okay, well, I don't know if anyone has seen Walt Disney's Oliver and Company, but these are the Dobermans, the henchman Dobermans that belong to Bill Sikes, or Mr. Sikes, or whatever it's called in the Disney version. But their names are Roscoe and DeSoto, right? And she and John Rutten lived on Roscoe, east of DeSoto. What the fuck? What are the chances of that? That's got to be like 1,000,000 to 1. I thought I'd gone mad. I thought I'd seen through the matrix, the matrix, when that happened.
Did he move after he got married, or do you know, or?
I'm sure he did.
Did you know where he was living, or?
Somewhere in the valley.
Did you ever visit him?
Yeah, somewhere in the valley on Roscoe and DeSoto.
East
or are you just making up street names based on Disney's Oliver and Company?
West of DeSoto, either east or west of DeSoto. I may have seen her at his apartment. You know, geez.
Roscoe and DeSoto are the main secondary antagonists in Disney's Oliver and Company. They are two Dobermans belonging to Bill Sykes. They were voiced by Taurine Black and Carl Weintraub.
How many years ago was that? I don't even know what year she, got killed.
Where was his apartment?
On Roscoe.
Okay.
Yeah, Roscoe and east or west of DeSoto. Either east or west of DeSoto.
Do you know where he moved after? Did he move after he got married, or do you know? Or
I'm sure he did.
Did you know where he was living, or
somewhere in the valley?
Did you ever visit him and his wife?
No.
No, never went out to, get together, dinner.
And this is pretty much what she would have looked like at the time of the murder, guys. The murder was in 86. This has got to be between 83, when she became a cop, and 86. She's pretty young there, right? And scary looking.
Anything of that nature?
No. Like I said, his sister used to come over. His sister had come to my place. I knew his brother because his brother played basketball at Northridge. In fact, I was just coming across some pictures that I just scanned from. I take a lot of photos, like 10,000, and I just
10,000.
did a service where I scanned everything.
10,000 photos. Oh, can you imagine doing anything with this woman? A vacation, a party. She's that woman with the fucking camera that just won't let you do anything without posing.
And I'd seen some pictures of his brother playing basketball.
Well, you just put them all on your computer so you could have them accessible and do things with them?
Well, my partner is a big photo thing, and he had a deal to scan. So I spent a ton of time just scanning photos. I paid a company to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got photos of, his brother, his sister,
10,000 pictures?
Oh, yeah.
How long did that take them?
Months.
Now, what do they put that on a? I'm just curious myself. Do they put it on a? They get that all on one DVD? They don't need a hard drive or anything?
No. There's I think 11 DVDs. Yeah, I don't even have time.
It's a series of DVDs that they put them on?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got.
I'm not that familiar with computer stuff, so that's why I was asking.
It's like 11 DVDs.
Oh, okay.
So, I haven't had a chance to go through them. You could go through and pick which ones you don't want. I don't have time to do that.
Right.
So like you said, did I, I don't think.
No, Nola, maybe, yeah, the movie was made in, the late 90s, I think. Mid-90s. So this interview is not for till 2009, but maybe the film guy was living in LA, right, at the time, and heard the story in the news and say, hey, there was a murder on Roscoe and DeSoto. Let's call the Dobermans Roscoe and DeSoto.
We ever socialized, he'd still call me. I can't say that I would, if he's married, I don't know that I would have called him. Maybe, who knows? I don't know. It's been a million years ago.
Well, how long was John married before his wife died?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
And,
well, not that long, right? It's not no idea. It wasn't a decade, right?
After his wife died, did you talk to him again or anything?
Yeah, I did talk to him.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to him probably.
Yeah, I did talk to him. I said, do you want to go to Hawaii? And then we went to Hawaii together, and we drank things out of fruit. We had all our drinks out of coconuts the whole time we were there.
Parents, probably some other friends. I'm sure I talked to him.
Yeah.
But you're not sure where he moved to after he got married?
no idea. I mean,
Never went over to visit him or
I don't think.
meet
I
his
mean, I
wife
don't think so. I mean, I don't know. I don't think I did.
Here's a question for the comments, guys. Does anyone have an idea how Stephanie could get out of this room? She does not want to be in this room. The cops have brought her in under false pretenses, and now if she says anything like, "Hey, you're asking about that killing, I'm not saying a word, and I want a lawyer, and I invoke my right to silence." I mean, that's going to look super suspect, right? She doesn't want to say that. Is there anything she could do to get out of this room? Any ideas? Let us know in the comments.
I mean, I know he lived on Roscoe for a long, long time.
It's not Aristocats, Christina. It's Oliver and Company, which is Disney's version of Oliver Twist, with Fagin and Bill Sykes and the Artful Dodger, and that's what it is. It's some stray dogs and cats that live in New York City, and the Dobermans work for the bad guy in the film.
I mean, I may know. I mean, he may have told me where they lived, somewhere in the valley. I mean, he may have said I lived over such and such, but I couldn't tell you specifically where.
But you don't remember specifically ever going over to visit him or visit them and wherever he moved when he left Roscoe?
I honestly, I don't know. I don't think so, but...
Okay.
You know, I don't want to say, no, I don't...
Yeah, I know, Bobby Cat. As soon as she was arrested, the LAPD said, "Oh, we're going to give you your early pension, retirement, you know, to help pay for your legal fees." Should that have been a priority at the time? I mean, you know.
I think so, and then he says, "Oh, yeah, she came over for something, dropped something off." You know...
Hi, Derek. Good to see you, man. Did you see the Disney revelation? Roscoe and DeSoto. Amazing. I've never heard that mentioned anywhere before. I was just watching the Interrogation a couple of days ago, and Roscoe and DeSoto, and I was like, Roscoe and DeSoto? That sounds familiar. Let me look it up. And it's those two Dobermans from Oliver and Company.
I don't know.
So if you did go over there, just be like a quick thing, like you're saying, drop something off, or
maybe.
But you don't remember as far as like going there to have dinner or like a social, anything at the house, party.
Have a seizure, yeah, right, Nola. And then maybe she could get taken to that hospital where she burst in an evening dress and threatened the life of a nurse.
Well, if you guys know something, I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, but...
After John's wife died, you said you may have been talking to him. Did your relationship start up again?
I would say no.
I would say no. That's different than just saying no, isn't it? If the answer is no, just say no. What do you mean you would say no? Are you saying no? What is the answer to the question, Stephanie?
Again, can you give me a year? I mean, this is like 2009.
She died in 1980.
All right, we just need 2 more live viewers to get to 100 of 3 figures. So please do leave a like on the video, guys. Do leave a like on the video. That would be fantastically appreciated. It helps us out. It helps you out. It helps everybody out. The only person it doesn't help is Stephanie Lazarus.
86?
Yeah, I think it was 86.
1986.
Okay,
Cops are like, yeah, I think it was 86. Could have been 86, 85, 86. I love how the cops act like they don't know everything about this case. You know, they've got all the details. I think it was 86. Could have been 86. Yeah, we'll go with 86.
like I said, I'm faintly remembering that I went...
And there's a beach, and a surfer is coming in. And it's waving in on a wave. He's waving to me, and I see the island, the big island in Hawaii, and John is there. It's coming back.
And I got certified for scuba diving. And
God, I would hate to be this woman's scuba diving instructor. Can you imagine how tedious that would be? You know.
And I'm thinking that John met us there, meaning Greg and I. That could have been toward the end of 88, or I mean, 88, 89.
Of course, the worst thing than having her, than being her scuba diving instructor, would be to be a student where she is the instructor. Man, that would, oh, no.
Because I got recertified.
I'd want my fucking money back for that.
Again, and it had been like over 10 years, so I got recertified. My husband and I got recertified. And I'm pretty sure that John met us there. Again, I'd have to tell you what year it was. I'd have to look at my pictures. You know, other than that, I can't even say. He may have called me, you know, at my home. I may have called him. I don't think he got together with our group.
I don't think after his wife's death.
Or even before, I don't. You know, we went to weddings together. You know.
Did you?
I got pictures. Like I said, I couldn't tell you years. It's been a million years ago.
After he got married or whatever, were you dating anybody in particular?
And that was what year? 1986, you said?
I think he got married in around 85, 86, something like that. Were you seeing anyone seriously, or?
God, I couldn't say. Geez, I'm trying to think. I mean, you know.
Yeah, I was pretty busy going through LAFD. Everybody in the fire department, you know. That was my thing in the mid-'80s.
I dated a fireman.
What was his name?
Mike Arndt. And I'm trying to think.
Was he LAFD or?
He was LAFD.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think when I went. I probably met Mike. I went to Devonshire. Let's see. I left Hollywood in 80. I worked Hollywood 84 to 85, I think, and then I went to Devonshire, and that's when I met Mike.
What happened, Nola?
And some other firemen. And
what, the station next door?
No, actually.
Because I used to work Hollywood, so I just wondered if it was the station next door.
It was when I worked Devonshire, I met Mike.
Oh, okay. All right.
And I'm trying to think. I went to Devonshire in 85, and I'm thinking that I would have met him probably sometime shortly after I went to Devonshire, because I met him and I actually met his buddies at a fire. And then Mike and I dated, you know, just really kind of casually.
Yeah.
And we remained very
super casual, you know, mostly in my car, parked by the airport. That's where we went for dates. Yeah. Pretty casual.
we remained good friends.
You still in touch with him, or?
Unfortunately, he passed away.
Oh, really?
He died in a
Oh, the stream has stopped? Why has the stream stopped? What's happening, Nola? Let me check it. Let's double check it. Hello?
He had a car crash.
Seems to be playing for me.
He did race cars, and he went heading into a wall. I couldn't tell you what year that was, but he passed away. He was in a coma, and they pulled the plug.
Right.
Seems like anyway. So, you know, I couldn't even tell you what year. I'm thinking I went to Devonshire in 85, and I know I met the guys because it was kind of a funny incident of how I met them. And that's how I remember it was sometime probably 85.
Right.
You know, if we specifically, I don't even know if they remember. The other two are now married to somebody else because I kind of all three. I mean,
did you kind of socialize, like when you were out with Mike? Did those guys come out with you too? Was it kind of like, did you do stuff with his friends? Or?
Well, there were three. There was two firemen, Eric and Gary. I met them first. Then they introduced me to Mike. So that's how I met Mike, and Mike and I dated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they introduced me to Mike. They said, "Hey, Mike, do you want some easy chick that will, do anything you want and not require,
So, and not, I wouldn't even say, I couldn't even tell you for how long, because then it would say we decided, it wasn't working out, and we'd be better friends, and, he introduced me, I think, to some other guy who now is on LAPD, Randy Cordobas.
I don't think I know him.
He's a detective. He's got a twin brother.
Randy Cordobas. That sounds like a sex position. Have you ever tried Randy Cordobas?
Who's on the fire department. That's how I met Randy, because he had a twin brother, identical twin on the fire department.
Okay.
And
wait, you and
I dated him. When I couldn't tell you, it was before he came on the job.
Before Randy came on the job?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And that was, I'm trying to remember if Mike may have. I'm trying to remember. Mike may have dated a girl that he dated. Oh, God, it sounds too weird. Randy may have dated a gal that Mike was dating, and then Randy broke up with that gal. I couldn't even tell you the gal's name, if I'm even thinking of the story right.
I think she's just talking about herself, isn't she? Randy broke up with the other woman that wasn't me, and then got back with me, and we dated, in the car park behind the airport. In between our shifts.
Right, and then I started dating Randy.
Yeah.
So again, I mean, not like I was a huge floozy or anything, but...
No, but, you know...
You were such a huge floozy, and don't be shy about it. We know, Stephanie. We get it. You were a massive floozy. Everybody in the fire department. You've got Randy Cordobal. What was it? Randy what was it? I forgot. It sounded like a sex position.
Oh.
I mean, a lot of times, right, at least from my female partners that I've had, it's hard dating guys that aren't involved in kind of our circle, right? Because some guys are intimidated by, women police officers.
Randy was like an engineer at the time. He was like some kind of an engineer.
On a rig? On a fire truck?
No, an engineer.
A professional engineer.
Yeah, and then I think he lost a job and then came on the department.
I see.
So...
But getting back to some stuff, as far as you recall, after John's wife died, did you start a relationship again with John, or dating casually, or anything like that?
Like I said, he met Greg and I in Hawaii. Okay.
That was something you guys kind of planned together, like go as a group?
You see, the cops have taken her away from the direct questions about Sherri, right? And Stephanie is falling for that because she's quite eager to go and answer these questions about Hawaii and Mike the fireman and, anything but the murder. If we can have questions not about the murder, that'd be great. No questions about the murder. Thank you. When really what she should be saying is, listen, do you want me to get in touch with John? Are you speaking with him? Does he know that the case has been reopened? I've probably got a number. Haven't spoken to him in years, but I certainly remember speaking about Sherri's murder with John at the time. And what can you tell me about the new information? How can I help? How can I help? Because it would be great if we could finally bring justice to my college friend. But instead, what do we get? We get, Well, I just, I couldn't tell you. I may have. I may be. We dated. I was dating a fireman and then all the firemen at once. I was getting passed around the fire department like an old, I don't know, hose, like a hose. They just hosed me down.
Or you ran into him? Or?
No, I think that obviously I must have talked to him, and I said, hey, I'm going to Hawaii with my buddy Greg. We're scuba. We just got certified scuba diving. We're going to be in Hawaii. Hey, if you want to come and join us, come join us.
Right.
And I think that's what it was.
Okay.
I may have asked some other people to as well. What island did we go to? I think
Honolulu.
the Big Island in Kauai. He either met us on the Big Island or Kauai. I'm thinking of Greg and I might have scuba dived a lot on the Big Island as well as Kauai. I don't remember which island. Again, I'd have to look at my pictures. I traveled a lot.
She'd have to look at her pictures.
On my vacations. I mean, I was always gone for at least a month. And I would go places, and I would either run into people or, meet people.
And Greg, this Greg we're talking about, he was like someone you were dating or just a buddy? Or?
No, you know what, I would say...
Yeah, just a buddy, just a naked buddy, When I was done with the fire department, I went on to Greg. I went from fire department to scuba divers. Then I got back with John for a while. And then I met Scott. Who is this Scott, huh?
We started out probably just buddies. And either...
Yeah, fuck buddies. There's a name for it. It's called fuck buddies.
I was with somebody or he was with somebody, but it was kind of like we ended up just kind of being like brother and sister.
Oh my God. What?
And maybe he wanted something more, but, it just...
Yeah, but just once and nothing serious.
It never, worked out, but we did things together. I would consider him, I've probably known him, let's see, I've been on the job almost 26 years. I've probably known Greg 23, 24 years.
Does he still talk to him?
Oh yeah, he's dying of liver cancer right now. Yeah.
Cancer. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, I.
Well, maybe this news will be just the thing to send him over the edge. Greg, we've got bad news. It's Stephanie. We've just learnt that she's crazy, and she's somewhere checking her pictures now. But she has 10,000, so she might not have checked them by the time you go, Greg. But we just wanted to let you know that she's in custody. And, we know all about her now, Greg.
I consider him a good friend, I don't know what to tell you on that.
I mean, when you heard about John's wife being killed, I mean, what was your reaction? I mean, you thought you heard about it, through a friend or in a bulletin or
either
something?
A friend or a bulletin. I called the family. I called maybe some of his friends that I knew, and I mean, obviously it shocked you if I heard it at work, which I may have. I faintly remember a bulletin going around. Either that or somebody called me. I honestly don't remember.
Right.
And then I called his family. I don't know initially. I can't say if I initially spoke to him or not. I honestly don't remember. I may have said.
She did have a relationship with John's family. I don't know if when she says family there, is she talking about Sherri's family or John's family? Because she was writing letters to John's mother saying how heartbroken she was that he had gotten engaged to Sherri and how John was making a terrible mistake and how they belonged together and blah, 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 blah. Yeah? All that shit. She was writing to John's mother with all of that shit.
to somebody, hey, have him call me if he wants to talk, and then he may have done that. You know.
Do you know what the circumstances were regarding her death?
Geez, let me think back. Geez, I don't know if it was, you know, if it was a burglary or something. Yeah, it's been so many years. I can faintly...
Mexicans, I think definitely Mexicans, because they did that thing where they took the CD player and the VCR and they stacked them by the door. Big indicator, Mexicans, Mexican burglars. Wasn't that a thing in the Scott Peterson, Lacey Peterson case as well? Like, yes, there was burglaries in the area. Mexicans going around burglarizing houses, stacking VCRs and CD players by the front door. California, what are you doing?
Think that I may have saw a flyer.
Yeah.
May have had her picture on it. You know, I know.
I can remember everything that's ever happened to me. I mean, you know, there's nothing, whether it's a huge event or tiny small things, I pretty much remember everything. If you ask me a question about something that happened 20 years ago, I'll be able to tell you in great detail about it. I'm trying to think of, like, anything. I don't know. Anything.
That's why I say, if somebody had called me, I may not have known what her last name was. I may have. I mean, maybe if you told me, I would remember it.
Do you remember her first name?
Her first name, it was, let me think. Without checking my pictures, I would have to say Shelley or Michelle Lee or Trishelle, something Shell, or sh sound. There was a shush.
Ellie, Sherri, I don't know, something maybe, you know, like I said, it's been so many years, and
from all the years, as far as you can remember, do you remember ever talking to her? Just
well, I said earlier, you know, I mean, I may have, you know, I may have talked to her. You know.
You mentioned a hospital, maybe. You may have talked to her at a hospital.
Yeah, I may have, you know, I'm thinking back now. You guys are bringing up all these old memories.
No, it kind of dusts off the cobwebs.
You know, I mean, geez. I'm thinking that, because, I mean, he would date other people, I would date other people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, you know, at one point, I mean, he may have been dating her, or I don't know, maybe he was married, I don't even remember. And I'm like, you know what, why are you calling me if you're either dating her or living with her or married to her? Because I honestly don't remember the time frame.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, come on, knock it off. And now I'm thinking I may have gone to her and say, hey, you know what, is he dating you? He's bothering me. And so I'm thinking that we had a conversation about that. One or two, maybe. You know, it could have been three. I don't want to say I had...
That is a really round-the-houses way to say, yeah, I went and warned her off. I said, he's calling me, he loves me, we belong together, and you better back off, Shelley, or whatever your name is. I may have gone to her and said, he's dating you, he's bothering me, and what does that mean? He's bothering me. Yeah, I'm sure you're really bothered.
Time frame. And I'm like, come on, knock it off. And now I'm thinking I may have gone to her and say, hey, you know what, is he dating you? He's bothering me. And so I'm thinking that we had a conversation about that. One or two, maybe. It could have been three. I don't want to say I had three conversations with her.
No.
Like at her work or at their house or.
No, I'm thinking that he obviously must have told me where she worked. I'm thinking it was a hospital somewhere in LA, and I could have been, again, what year was that? Where was I working? I'm trying to think of where when did you say they got married?
I don't know. I think it was like in 85 or 86 or something like that. You know, we just kind of picked this up. We don't know a lot about it.
Yeah. We just picked this up. We just got the file today. Haven't even read the thing yet. Yeah, we don't know. We're ill-informed. We're under-informed. We don't know. Could have been 85 or 86. We don't know. We think her name was Shelley. Shelley or Trish.
I mean, I could have been working in Hollywood, it sounds like, if that's where I was working.
Well, not as a fucking actress. You wouldn't get very far.
So I could have said, okay, well, and I went and talked to her. And just said, hey, you know what? If he's dating you, he keeps calling me. Why don't you tell him to knock it off or whatever? And because I probably would have told him to knock it off.
You would have told John.
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I would have said.
And I think John was playing the field. I mean, where's a picture of John? Look, you can just tell. You can just tell he thinks of himself as a real smooth cruise, right? Let's bring up a picture of the man himself. Look at him. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of John Rutan. He's probably like, proposed marriage to Shelley and thought, hey, Stephanie's easy. If I take a drive out to the airport, maybe we can, go on a date. So he's probably playing the field, right? Stirring the pot, stirring the big John pot.
Hey, and again.
But you wanted to tell her too? You wanted them both to know?
Yeah, I mean, if you're getting her.
Hey, just a reminder, guys, you can support the channel at buymeacoffee.com, buymeacoffee.com/truecrimemetrics, Patreon memberships, link in the description, social networks, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Discord, and memberships on YouTube, memberships on buymeacoffee.com. But the best way, the awesome way to support the channel is super chat, super like, super thanks, super stickers, and buymeacoffee.com/truecrimemetrics.
Called, and I'm faintly remembering when Scott moved in with me in 1993, sometime in 93, because I met Scott in April of 92. I was teaching DARE up in Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
And he moved down. In fact, he may have moved down in 92. 92 or 93. There was a big earthquake. No, when was the big earthquake?
Jesus Christ, Stephanie, we want to know if you confronted Sherri at the hospital and threatened her if she didn't stay away from John. We don't care about where you taught DARE or the earthquake or when Scott moved down to LA, okay? Those details are what we call peripheral details. They're not important to our investigation. You should know this as a cop.
Quake. No, 94.
94, yeah.
So I think Scott might have moved in 93, sometime in 93. Excuse me. I haven't had my breakfast yet. And so.
Oh, she's having gastric reflux now. That's a guilt indicator. That's a bullshitting indicator.
Excuse me. And so I faintly recall that John may have called a few times, and I'm like, hey, I've got. He goes, look, can you talk or something? I'm like, no, I can't talk. I've got, I'm living with somebody.
So this is pretty early in the morning, I think, as well, right? They've hit her with this first thing. She's like, I haven't had my breakfast yet.
Right.
And that could have been a few times. It could have been once, could have been twice, could have been 3 times. Yeah, I don't know,
And that's during the period of time of the earthquake that you're...
No, probably after Scott moved in. I think I met Scott in April of 92.
Oh, okay, right before.
April of 92, because I stopped teaching DARE. I think I stopped teaching DARE sometime in 92.
Mm-hmm.
And when you say that you may have, that you talked to his wife, said, hey, or I don't know if it was, I guess it wasn't his wife at that time, girlfriend or whatever. And
yeah, I don't know.
Hi, Lee.
If it was his wife or his
Right.
girl. I mean, quite honestly, I don't even remember.
When you said like, hey, he's calling me, he needs to knock it off or what have you. I mean, was that civil? Was there? I mean,
No, there was not. I don't think there was anything. If the conversation lasted a few minutes, I can't even remember. And what is it like? We went out to lunch or anything.
Right, but there was no.
You definitely didn't go out to lunch. What would you offer her for lunch? A knuckle sandwich?
Like arguments or fights,
I
or
don't think
it didn't
so.
get heated or anything like that.
Not that I remember. Not that I remember. Get heated? No, I don't think so. Hey, Pinto, thanks so much for the coffees, Pinto. That is a beautiful gesture and a beautiful way to support the channel at buymeacoffee.com/True Crime Metrics. Thank you, Pinto.
That I recall, no. I mean,
This is such bullshit as well. This is not believable. You should know this after being a fucking police officer for 26 years. You should know that a denial should be absolute. You can't go, hey, is there any chance it got a little heated and you confronted Shelley? Well, I don't think so. Not that I recall. Who else would recall, Stephanie? It's your recollection that we're interested in here, Stephanie. No one else is in the room. Shelley's dead. I know it's Sherri, guys, but I like to get the names wrong, like Stephanie does. She's, her name would have been Shelley or Trish.
When you said like, hey, he's calling me, he needs to knock it off or what have you. I mean, was that civil? Was there? I mean,
no, there was not. I don't think there was anything. If the conversation lasted a few minutes, I can't even remember. And what is it like? We went out to lunch or anything.
Right, but there was no like arguments or fights.
See, now she's gone from not being able to remember ever speaking with her or meeting her, right? That's where we were at the beginning of this. Did you ever meet his wife? Well, I don't know. A million years ago. So long ago. No, it's all... The conversation lasted a few minutes at her work.
Or
I think
it didn't
so.
get heated or anything like
Not
that.
that I recall, no. I mean, I would think that would stand out, I would think. Now, again, that's not standing out in my mind.
So you didn't have any problems with her then?
No.
You didn't have any issues with her?
No, I mean...
But let me ask you. It seems like you didn't have any issue. Now, did she have an issue with you as far as...
Oh.
Because now you're telling her, hey, tell them to stop calling. Now, she's like, hey, you figure she'd be threatened by you.
I don't know. I mean...
From what you remember as far as when you talked to her, maybe you didn't take it as serious, but maybe, did she...
She is hyper stressed here, right? She can just feel these guys closing in on her and doesn't know what to do. It's fascinating to watch. Look at her go. It's quite a good question. The cops, he's having fun, isn't he? He's like, so let me ask you this. You didn't have any problems with her, but did she have a problem with you? Was she threatened by you?
You didn't have any issue. Now, did she have an issue with you as far as...
Oh.
Because now you're telling her, hey, tell them to stop calling. Now, she's like, hey, you figure she'd be threatened by you.
I don't know. I mean...
From what you remember as far as when you talked to her, maybe you didn't take it as serious, but maybe, did she? Maybe she was bugged.
You mean like, was she throwing things at me or something? Or,
Well, no, just, as far as...
Hey, Lee, I don't know if you're just joining us, but did you see when she mentions the street names of where John Rutten lived? She's like, he lived on Roscoe, west of DeSoto. And Roscoe and DeSoto are the names of the two Dobermans in Disney's Oliver and Company.
Trying to explain, like, hey, have them stop calling me, stop playing games.
I tell you, if the conversation, I couldn't even tell you how long the conversation, if you said, did it last a half an hour, did it last 3 minutes, did it last 20 minutes, I can't even remember, it's been so long ago,
You just remember talking to her, telling her.
Yeah, and that's why you said, how many times you talked to her? I don't know how many times I talked to her. Maybe it was once, maybe it was twice, maybe it was 3 times. I honestly don't know.
Right.
I don't know what year it was. If he said, I met her in such and such year, I'd go, okay, well, I don't even know what year you met her. I graduated from UCLA in 1982, okay? I graduated in 82. Like I said, I don't know if he graduated, I know he was a little older than I was, so I don't know if he graduated a year before or 2 years before, because people are on different, either on the 4-year program or the 5-year program.
What year did you come on the job?
83.
Oh, so almost pretty much immediately after you got out of school?
Yeah, I worked at a law firm for a year, and then came on the job. But anyway, in regards to seeing him, not seeing him, we went to friends' weddings that were, from UCLA. I may have gone to some of his friends' weddings from where he worked. He may have gone to things with me, I don't know how many times we went to do things, or didn't do things.
Right.
Like I said, his sister, I know his sister, his brother, his sister, I know stayed at my townhouse a number of times. I couldn't tell you how many times.
Right.
I would watch his brother, take pictures at a basketball game or two.
Where was your townhouse at?
In Granada Hills, below the Odyssey.
I don't know the valley.
Oh, I'm sorry. The 405 and the 5. The 405.
I'm just going to pause it for a second, guys. I think a plane is going over and scrambling our connection. That inconsiderate plane. Okay, I think we're back now.
The 405 turns into 5 to 118. They came down in the earthquake.
Okay.
So.
Okay. And you were saying when you went to see her, would you remember if it was at her house or at the place she worked at?
No, I'm thinking that it was probably, for some reason I want to say that the hospital seemed that, if you say he got married in 85 or something, I'm thinking that, maybe the hospital was on my way to work in Hollywood. I mean, that's kind of sounding familiar.
Would you have gone on duty?
Oh, no, I'm sure I wouldn't have.
No,
I'm pretty good about not doing stuff.
Oh.
No, I'm not.
I'm pretty good about not using my position of authority to threaten people in my personal life. Yeah, I'm sure, right? If she hadn't have killed Sherri, you can guarantee it would be like she'd be calling in favors from cops saying, yeah, put a bolo out on this car, a silver BMW. Put a bolo, stop it for any minor infraction. And, if you could, really give her some hassle. Really make her suffer.
Saying that, you haven't done stuff on duty. But I would have, I would have been working with somebody.
Oh, yeah.
So I wouldn't think. I try to avoid doing stuff on duty.
Oh,
so.
Okay. So you would have gone, if it was en route to work, you more than likely would have gone to her work and had this discussion with her?
That's sounding familiar.
Uh-huh.
That's, now that you guys are bringing this stuff up, that sounds familiar. But again,
What's this all about? Again, do I need a lawyer?
What's this got to do with me dating him and, her getting killed? I don't have anything to do with it. And you got something somebody said, whatever. I mean,
Well, like we said, we just literally got this the other day, and you're going through it,
yeah.
and you see
and you saw me say,
your
oh,
name.
it's next door.
Right, and so, I mean, obviously it's like we recognize the name, and we know that, you work next door to us, and so we're trying to get some background, we're trying to figure this out. I mean, this is from a long time ago.
Oh, I know. And
and things have been kind of slow for us, and so, Chief Beck has said, hey, I want you guys working, I don't want you just sitting around reading the paper.
Yeah.
So he's kind of pushing some older cases out even to the guys that work active cases, because, and so we see this, and we're just like, well, we want to talk to you about it, but of course, the only reason we did it here is because we're getting into some pretty personal stuff in your relationship.
My husband's on the job, and we've been married
we don't want to take the risk. We don't want to take the risk. We're in one of those interview rooms, and even with the door closed, someone's going to get supplies and sees us on a monitor or hears or whatever.
No, I appreciate it. I mean, I appreciate it. Like I said,
that's where people go when there's orals. When they're doing orals, guys will go in there and try and watch. And what are the answers?
Yeah, Stephanie does all of her orals in the parking lot behind the runway at LAX. She's got a queue of firemen. Yeah. She polishes their helmets.
To the questions,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so we just want to afford you the most privacy and confidentiality we could.
No, I appreciate it. Like I said, I mean, this goes way back, and I mean, it was very sad. Obviously, I haven't, when we were in college.
Oh, she just got herself a little bit of breathing space, didn't she? She's just like, oh, look, maybe they are just asking me questions because I knew him. Maybe this is just a courtesy that they've brought me into this room. A little bit of calmness after that. She finally got up the courage to address what could be an accusation. She's breached the thing of saying, I didn't have anything to do with it. What is this all about? Someone said something about me, and it wasn't me. She's been avoiding doing that for ages, and she's finally done it, and the cop did a pretty good job of, the investigator cop did a pretty good job of saying, listen, we just wanted to give you some privacy. We're getting into some personal stuff here, and we don't want the rumor mill being turned. You know what that rumor mill does, right? And now she's all like, you can almost feel her take a breath, right?
Guys will go in there and try and watch. What are the answers to the questions?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so we just want to afford you the most privacy and confidentiality we could.
No, I appreciate it. Like I said, I mean, this.
Yeah, like I said, it wasn't me, and you can't prove a thing.
It was way back, and I mean, it was very sad. Obviously.
But what Stephanie doesn't know is that recently she was leaving a shopping mall, drinking a drink out of a paper cup with a straw, and a cop was following her, and as she discarded that paper cup and straw into a trash can, the cop picked it up, put it in an evidence bag, and ran a test of the DNA compared with the DNA that was found on the bite mark of the murder victim 23 years ago. And it came back a perfect match. That hasn't been introduced yet. It's coming.
I haven't. When we were in college, some of us would go down to his house in San Diego. I went down to his house with him. With him. And I know I'm trying to think of some other people that may have gone down.
Is that where he grew up? Is down there?
Yeah, down in San Diego.
Oh, okay.
I know his dad was a professor at San Diego State. I don't know if he still is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what happened to his sister. Don't know what happened to his brother.
Hey, Rayanne. Sorry, are we having problems with the stream tonight, guys? Does it keep dropping out, or what? Let us know if you're having any problems, and we'll see what we can do, if there's anything we can do here.
I'm sure his dad's probably retired by now. He was, I think, older. Even back then.
Right.
What, John's dad? He's got to be dead, isn't he? What do you mean retired? You're about to retire.
And I can't even tell you the last time I had any contact with any of them. It's been so long.
Did he tell you what happened? Like what he heard from the detectives or the police, or?
You know what? He may have. for some reason, I'm thinking that, I mean, again, this is like drugs or something. I mean, I think I faintly remember him mentioning something maybe about cocaine.
That she was involved with that?
You know, I don't know that he said she was involved or they thought she was. You know, again, it's been so long. You know, he could have told me the whole story of what happened. And, I mean, like I said, I'm faintly remember either between him or the flyer that there was some kind of a burglary. You know.
Let me ask you, did the detectives ever reach out to you?
No one's ever talked to me. I don't think anybody ever talked to me about him.
It seems like back then
you know,
would have been
well, I'm thinking that I did talk to a detective. God. Well, what division was it?
In Van Nuys?
And where was I working?
1986?
I would have been working in Devonshire. You know, I'm thinking that I did speak to somebody.
Oh, really?
I couldn't tell you who it was.
Because it doesn't
It was
say
probably
anything.
on the phone.
Okay.
Would it have been somebody in regards to this, or just...
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I don't even know if you said a name, if I would remember it. Because I worked Van Nuys for a while.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I worked...
Detectives, patrol?
No, I worked detectives.
Uh-huh.
When did I go to Van Nuys? I worked Devonshire till 88. Then I went to Dare till 92. I worked twice at Van Nuys.
Both as a detective?
Yeah. Sometime in the 90s.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I know before I busted my leg up, I was there in 98, because that year sticks out because I had a really bad leg injury. And I was there prior to that, but I couldn't tell you what year. It was just a few years. I made detective, I think, in 93. So I was at Van Nuys, and then I went back, and then I had a leg injury, and then they transferred me to Devonshire because I couldn't drive.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't drive very far with my bad leg injury. So, but yeah, I think I talked to somebody.
Would you remember any of the conversation as far as what they were looking for? Or?
Couldn't say. I mean, they may have told me. I said, hey, you know, I went to school with him. Either somebody called me or I saw the fly. I may have seen the flyer at that point, and I called up. If someone's name was on the flyer, I may have called to speak to them. I said, hey, if there's anything I can do, you know, call me. This is where I work. You know, I went to school with them.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't say. I couldn't tell you who it was.
But you do remember that someone you think reached out to you?
You mean the detective?
Yeah, called you up and talked to you.
Or I called them, one of the two. But yeah, I remember talking to somebody, but I'm thinking it was a man. I'm sure there's probably more men back then.
Yeah, probably
right.
more.
Yeah, I bet.
So again, that's really all I can remember about that.
Yeah. Let me get back to as far as when you said that John was calling you to see you, and during that time you felt that he was either seeing her, was he engaged or married? Did you know?
Couldn't say.
You don't remember?
I don't know.
Uh-huh. Would he ever?
Well, let's see. My husband.
Did it ever appear?
Well, no, that would have been. Scott moved in '93, so that would have been. You said '86 or '85 or something.
Scott's your only husband? You've never been married?
No, never been married. I got married in, I think, '96. Well, no, I got married in '96, but he moved in '93.
Mm-hmm. But during that time that you were seeing John, was he acting kind of squirrely or kind of sneaking around when he'd hook up with you or anything like that?
Oh, he's a massive squirrel. I can just tell by looking at him. He's such a squirrely guy. He's like, yeah. John. And then you got with Stephanie, After she murdered your wife? And you had suspicions? I mean, what is going on, John? Was it... I just don't know what to say to you, John.
That to make you think, hey, yeah, this
Well,
guy...
it probably was. I mean,
because from the impression I get is you've known him a long time.
well, let's see.
From what, early
I met him in
80s?
'78. No,
Yeah.
I met him in school. I started UCLA in '78.
So you know him well. During that period of time.
Yeah, I mean, was he acting squirrely? You know, I don't even remember where he was living then. You know,
Well, after...
I don't...
Well, let me ask you, after he hooked up with...
I mean, if he was living on Roscoe or wherever else he was living.
Right.
Well, after he hooked up with Sherri, do you know where they were living?
No, you asked me that already.
Uh-huh.
And I said, well, obviously they were living in Van Nuys division.
Yeah.
I may have known.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, did he ever give me the address? Maybe. You know, I don't remember. I mean, I don't know.
Because the only reason I'm asking you again is because as we've been talking, I know some stuff has come to you because you're like, oh, it seems like you're
You know.
So that's why I'm asking if you've ever been to the house.
I mean, when you said Van Nuys division, you know, I'm sure he could have told me. I mean, he could have told me. He could have told me where he lived.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever have gone there?
I don't think I've ever gone there. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to say, no, I've never gone there, and then you say, oh, I was at a party. Because I don't, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Like I said, we've got these friends, we have parties, my house, their house. I just don't think John ever came to, again, at one point, because we knew people from school together. I knew different people. He knew different people. I knew people that he knew from his work, that lived in the valley.
So as far as for social events or
Excuse
anything,
me.
I mean,
No problem.
you're not sure if you ever been to the house because...
But it's safe to say that would have been the only time, like for something social.
Yeah, if I went there for something social, yeah.
Okay.
I mean...
Because I know you went to talk to her at the hospital regarding this issue with John. To, kind of like, hey, what's going to happen here with this thing. But would this ever...
Absolutely, Vivian. That is exactly her kind of party.
...followed up to her house when you went to talk...
Except she's the only woman at the party, and everyone else in attendance is a fireman.
...her to say, hey, you know what?
I don't even know that I knew where they lived.
There's not many car keys because they all come in the same big red truck.
That's what I'm saying. I don't... If I knew where they lived and I'd been there, if it was for something social, I would... And I can't see how many...
Yeah, it was definitely something social. It was definitely something social. You could call it social, and
I saw her face to face. He lived on Roscoe. Did I ever see her there?
yeah, the fireman hosed me down.
I don't know. I mean, I may have seen her at his apartment on Roscoe.
Mm-hmm.
I may have met her there. I mean...
But you didn't have any issues with her, right?
I love how she acts like everything's a mystery. It could have been Roscoe. I may have met her there. It could have happened. We don't know. It was a long time ago, and we haven't checked our pictures. So how are we supposed to remember what happened 1,000,000 years ago without checking pictures? Okay? It could have been at Roscoe or the hospital.
No, I mean, obviously, if he was...
She's majorly back to the uncomfortable stage here, right? She had that little tiny bit of breathing space where she was like, oh, this was a courtesy. That's gone now. Let's just see it again. She's getting all flustered, and it's fascinating.
What's going to happen here with this thing? But would this ever have followed up to her house when you went to talk to her to say, hey, you know what?
I don't even know that I knew where they lived. That's what I'm saying. If I knew where they lived and I'd been there, if it was for something social, I would, and I can't see how many times I saw her face to face. He lived on Roscoe. Did I ever see her there? I don't know. I mean, I may have seen her at his apartment on Roscoe.
Mm-hmm.
I may have met her there. I mean...
But you didn't have any issues with her, right?
No, I mean, obviously, if he was dating me and dating her, I probably said, hey, pick or something,
Fair.
back
That's
then.
fair.
I can't say that we ever screamed or, I mean, he was a pretty mellow guy, I think I was pretty mellow. I don't.
Oh, you were so not mellow, Stephanie. That's all over. That's written on the wall. You not mellow. Stephanie Lazarus not mellow. Big letters on the wall. Big letters on the wall. Stephanie Lazarus not mellow. Not even one bit mellow.
I don't think we had some big, huge blow up to say, why we stopped dating or, and I even think that when I was dating him, I was probably, like I said, I was probably going out with other guys and he was probably going out with other girls.
Right.
I don't know.
I mean, would you remember if she snapped on you and just like, hey man, it's my man, you get it, leave him alone, blah, 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 that kind of stuff? And would you remember an incident like that? I mean, because that would be like, what?
Well, and maybe that happened. I mean, gosh, it's been so long ago. I mean, that's not ringing a bell.
Mm-hmm. Because the times I've seen you around at our office,
I'm crazy.
But you're always kind of like real. I mean, you seem kind of bubbly.
Oh, people think I'm really hyper. But I can get upset. And then I forget 5 seconds later.
Mm-hmm.
How guys razz you and you go,
Oh my God, that's terrifying. What is that? What does she do? You know how guys razz you and you go, ah! If she did that and in an office that I was working in, I would hand in my notice today. Guys razz you and you go, ah! The fuck?
I'm crazy.
But you're always kind of like real. I mean, you seem kind of bubbly.
Oh, people think I'm really hyper. But I can get upset. And then I forget 5 seconds later.
Mm-hmm.
How guys razz you and you go, ah. I mean, I've done that in the office. But it's like, and then I'm.
Yeah.
People
Water
think,
under the bridge.
Yeah, I mean, it's like people think I'm crazy, and then they think I'm crazy at home, and I'm a hyper person at work. I enjoy my job. I get excited. I enjoy the job. I've always enjoyed the job.
Well, you got a good gig, so.
I don't know. It's like I said, this stuff's been so long ago. I'm sure as soon as I walk out here, I'll go, oh shoot, 25 things I'll remember.
But you'll call us, or you'll just come over our desk and tell us.
I don't know what else you need to know. Like I said, we knew friends together. A lot of the friends that that we socialized in the dorms, I would say. There was a group of us that we were all really close. Even this one guy I was thinking of, Diana Basta. We were all really close. I haven't talked to her in a million years.
Diana Basta being a friend of you and John's, or?
Yeah, we all lived on the dorms together. I don't know if she lived on the same. I'm trying to think. I know John lived on our floor because his roommate was Dave Newman. Dave Newman now is a big shot, whatever, movie producer, director, something. I don't know.
And that was John's roommate?
Yeah,
Oh,
and
okay.
then the guys that lived across from me, Jim Jaskell and Roy Suckaboo, something like that.
Roy Suckaboo. What is with her circle of friends? What was that guy's name earlier? Mike Baldrick, Jim Suckaboo, Diana Basta, Schmieder. The fuck? There's more.
They lived across from me. Diana Basta, I don't know if she lived on our floor. Maybe she was the RA.
She's 49 here, California, Amy.
Diane Sherman, because I still remember.
I guess she could be 48. I don't know what her birthday is, but she's born in 1960, and this is 2009.
I'm friends with Diane Sherman. Not that I'm not friends with the other people, I just don't see them. A gal named Smita, Sally, Kathleen, you know, so we were all on the floor. I mean, some of them were athletes, some of them weren't. You know, I said John played basketball, his brother played.
Apparently her birthday is May 4th. She's a Taurus.
Basketball. I played basketball at UCLA for 2 years. One of the girls swam on the team, one was on the crew team. So we all did stuff together. And then I'd say after we all graduated, we went to weddings. You know, I went to weddings.
But Sherri wasn't part of this circle.
No, I don't even know how he met her. I don't even know where. I mean, I don't know where he met her from. I don't even know. He told me where he met her from. I mean, he may have told me. You know, that's not ringing a bell. And there was lots. I mean, you know, there was other people that knew other people. You know, that were friends of everybody's.
What the hell is she talking about? John's roommate from college is a big movie producer. I knew a gal named Shamita, and then there was Diana Baxter. There was 2 Dianes, and we all lived on the 10th floor in Dystra, in the dorms. I graduated in 82. I think John was a couple of years older than me. He drove a 270Z. My first car was a 1968 Chevy Chevelle.
You know, I mean, I don't know what else to tell you.
Well, one of the concerns I had is looking at some of the notes is some of Sherri's friends said that you and her were having a problem.
Jane's World says, Metrics, not familiar with this case, so what was her motive? Okay, real quick, Jane. So this is Stephanie Lazarus, and in college, in like the early 80s, she was having a relationship, kind of friends with benefits relationship with a guy named John Rutten. When they left college, the relationship ended, but Stephanie threw a surprise birthday party for John when he turned 25 and found out that he was now engaged to a new woman called Sherri Rasmussen. And Stephanie Lazarus got really jealous, and I think John was kind of engaged to Sherri but still sleeping with Stephanie here and there, so it was all a bit confusing. And then Stephanie started to threaten Sherri and say, back off my man, and all this sort of stuff, and then went round to her apartment and shot her and bashed her face in with a gun and bit her, and the case went cold, and the cops just thought it was a burglary gone wrong because there was all this like not DVD players, but VCRs and CD players stacked by the door, and it went cold case. And later the DNA testing became more improved, and they found a match to this lady who's a cop and was a cop back then. And yeah, she's gotten away with it for 23 years, and now she's being interrogated about the murder. So the motive was jealousy, but it doesn't appear that she really wanted to like get back with John, because I think they hooked up once. They went to Hawaii together 3 years after the murder, and then another 3 years passed, and Stephanie met her current husband. So I think it was more just punishment for hurt feeling, really.
Because of the John situation.
Well, number one, I don't know.
No, she graduated in 82 and joined the police force in 83, California, Amy. So in 86, she'd been a beat cop, patrol officer for 3 years already.
who her friends are. Because again, I don't recall if he did tell me where he met her. I don't know even who these friends are. A problem, like I said, if I spoke to her, I mean, I'll go on as far as a limb, and I don't even want to say I spoke to her 5 times, because that's probably not even true. I can't even remember. Again, did I meet him at her place when he lived on Roscoe for, I think, quite a while, but I couldn't tell you how long he lived on Roscoe. And the only reason I remember the place now is because it's like a huge dope place now, where they, it may have been back then, but maybe we didn't know back then. I could have met her there. I could have, I don't even know that I met.
She really likes trying to keep her options open, non-committal to the story. She's like, well, I could have met her on Roscoe, or the hospital, or at Roscoe on the hospital. I don't know.
Any of their friends, I can't say that. I don't know that that's a true statement.
Well, that's what I'm reading, is that you guys had problems with each other and words were being exchanged, and it's all relating to John.
You know what? I can't say.
You can't say?
No, that doesn't even ring a bell. So, I mean,
it seemed like, you would recall something if somebody's going off on you, right?
I would think. I would think.
Yeah, because it's...
But that's,
Because it seems like your relationship...
Man, if she had any dignity, she'd just give it up at this stage. I mean, she's doing a terrible job here. I find it hard to believe that she's so unable to pull this off in better than this. But I guess after getting away with it for 23 years, all your guard goes down. If she'd been questions like this a month after it happened, or 6 months, or a couple of years, maybe she'd have been more prepared. Like, okay, maybe if this comes back to me, I'm gonna have to be like really on my game and have a convincing story, an alibi, some stuff going on. This is going to be in my mind. I mean, that the stress of that must have been with her for a while, but after 23 years, it's like, well, I guess they're never going to come back to me about that murder that I did and never got caught for. Her guard has gone completely down, and she's been so caught by surprise here. It's unbelievable.
John was kind of... I mean, you've known each other for a lot of years.
Yeah, it was just kind of... It was like...
But it doesn't seem to me, from what you're telling me...
I mean, we were never engaged. I mean,
right.
It wasn't like we were planning to get married. It was like... It was... I don't know how to describe it. I mean...
Would you say there wasn't a lot of drama in this relationship?
Oh, no, I don't think there was drama.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
I mean...
That's why I'm asking, as far as what the friends are saying in regards to this, the problems that they're saying you were having with Sherri. I mean, it seems like the relationship is just going on an even plane.
That just... I don't have the recollection of that at all.
No?
No.
And, because from what you're telling me is when you guys met at the hospital, I mean, you guys talked, but it wasn't, from what you recall, confrontational?
I don't think so.
From either side?
No, I mean, I'm trying to, turn my memory back, and I'm trying. I can't even picture the conversation. I mean, I can't even picture the conversation.
Well, let me ask you. I mean, at the hospital, it never got to the point where people were going, hey, everybody go to your own corner type of thing?
I don't think so.
Nothing like that?
I don't think so. I mean, I really don't. I mean, if you say people said that, that's not ringing a bell to me at all. I mean, it's not. I mean, that's not ringing a bell to me at all.
Was there ever a time when you and Sherri were talking and John had to maybe go like, hey, you guys relax, or anything like that?
I think so.
About, ever going to her house and having a dispute like that?
I'm just... If I met her ever at his apartment... maybe. I mean, maybe we could have met I could have met at her apartment. I'm thinking that the hospital thing, that sounds familiar, that I met her there. I just can't say that I've ever... Again, was I there with other people? I don't know. I don't think I ever met her there or him there. meaning one or the other. I don't think so. I can't. I don't think so.
Because I mean, I know the way my wife is. At our house, she wouldn't want my own girlfriends there, you know. So I don't know if maybe she had the same mentality towards you, as far as you ever being there, or being welcome there, you know, because it's.
You know what? If somebody said I was there when they were there, then that's possible. Mm-hmm. But I don't recall. I mean, I don't think so. It's not sounding familiar.
Yeah, because I guess basically what I'm asking is, you know, were you ever welcome to the house? Like, you know, hey.
Oh, come over?
Yeah, come on over. We're having a barbecue, you know, a dinner party, Christmas party, whatever.
You know, I don't know.
You know,
I'm just trying to think. You know, like I said, because there were so many of us that the two Dianes, Jim Jaskell, Roy, Smita.
Jim Jaskell, that's it. Jim Jaskell. He sounds like fun.
Another friend of ours, Beth. She it seems like everybody I know is passing away. She passed away. She was a child diabetic and got very ill. We would all socialize. Like I said, I don't think John ever. It's hard. I don't want to say he never.
Who just became a member?
Never socialized with us. You know, it's been. I'd have.
Laura Lee, welcome to the team. Thanks so much for becoming a member on buymeacoffee.com. Thank you, Laura.
I have to almost go back and look at pictures, because I take pictures. I mean, I usually when I go to functions, I have 10,000 pictures. Okay, I'm a picture nut.
I'm a picture nut.
No, it's been. I'd have to almost go back and look at pictures, because I.
Oh, can you imagine going around this woman's house for just, you know, coffee or something, and she's like bringing out photo albums, making you look at them, telling you about what's happening in every single pitch. Oh, and that's us on the Big Island. Yeah, this is me holding a certificate of my scuba diving degree. And look, we found this crab on the beach. You see how big it is? It's almost as long as my arm. Okay. You're like trying to find a way to get out of the room, but she just keeps making you look at pictures.
I take pictures. I mean, I usually when I go to functions, I have 10,000 pictures. Okay, I'm a picture nut.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask: when you were seeing John, would you? I take it he would pick you up in his car. You go in her, your car, things of that nature. When you guys would go out.
Well, yeah. I mean.
Do you remember what he drove?
Well, I know at one time he drove either a 240 or 260Z.
Any other cars that stand out in your mind?
What is going on there? Check. I think this is the best one of her faces, because she stole Sherri's car. When John got back to the house, I think Sherri had a BMW, and the BMW wasn't there, but Sherri was dead inside, in the house. So Stephanie stole Sherri's car, and now they're asking her about cars. And her face just explodes into spasms. I mean, it looks like she's on ecstasy. It looks like she's on about 4 ecstasy tablets.
Well, yeah, I mean.
Do you remember what he drove?
Well, I know at one time he drove either a 240 or 260Z.
Any other cars that stand out in your mind?
I don't know how long he drove that 240 or 260Z for. And the only reason I say that is because I think I may have a picture of it with him in it.
What kind of car did you have back then?
I can guarantee she has a picture of John in his car. She probably has about 500 pictures of John in a 270Z.
Let's see. What year?
Or are you like one of those young cops that's like, oh, I got a paycheck and bought a new car?
Oh, no. I've only had like a few cars in my whole life.
So what'd you have when you came on the job?
Okay, well, my first car was a 68 Chevelle. 68 Chevelle. And then I had a Toyota, some kind of a Toyota.
Some kind of a Toyota. What does that mean? What does that mean? Any Toyota?
Hatchback, but I forget what the name of it was.
Corolla.
Like a Corolla or Tercel or
Tercel.
something like that.
Tercel.
Yeah.
And then
My
I
dad
had
had
my
one of
truck.
Did you ever have any problems with your cars?
Like what?
Oh, this is the other thing, right? Is she used her own gun to kill Sherri, right? Now, obviously, that gun had to disappear, right? Because they can tell the bullets from the barrel of the gun and say, yeah, that science says that is the gun that shot the bullets that we found in Sherri's face. So you're under arrest for murder. So that gun had to go, right? How did she get rid of that gun? Well, she faked her car being broken into and reported that her service weapon had been stolen, and the cops are now bringing that up. Nice and slow, right? Nice and slow. Did you ever have any problems with your cars? Like, did they ever get vandalized or broken into? Was anything ever stolen from those cars? And like, I don't think Stephanie gets it straight away. When the questions start closing in, there's this real sense of the walls closing in with this line of questioning, and Stephanie doesn't even notice at first. Right? She's thinking back to that 270Z and John in the car, you know, by the airport on a date. But let's go back. Let's just see those walls close in on Stephanie.
And then I had
some kind of a Toyota, just any Toyota.
a Toyota, some kind of a Toyota, hatchback, but I forget what the name of it was.
Like a Corolla or Tercel or
Tercel.
something like that.
Tercel.
Yeah.
And then
My
I
dad
had my
one of
truck.
Did you ever have any problems with your cars?
Like what?
Just anything in general, you know, car wrecks, anything stolen.
Yeah. No, my car's never been stolen. Oh, no, crashed, hit and run. My Tercel was hit and run. Again, I got pictures of the hit and runs. I don't think any of my cars had ever been stolen. No.
Okay.
My cars haven't been stolen. Broken into.
None of that.
Broken into, sure. I mean, we live in LA, so that's common, right? Yeah, I had a gun stolen from my car that I reported. What? Yeah, it was my service weapon.
Oh yeah, my cars have been broken into. But no cars have ever been stolen.
How long? Well, tell me about this car getting broken into.
Well, my car has been broken into several times.
Oh, really? Did you ever lose anything, or?
Yeah. Now that you mention it, let's see.
She's just seen what the cop's doing. And she knows, because she's a cop, she knows that cop is sitting there with a report that says Stephanie Lazarus had her car broken into at this year and reported that a gun was stolen. And of course, that looks really bad, right?
I had a gun that was stolen?
I mean, they could probably say from the bullets in Sherri's head what type of gun it was, right? And the report of the theft of her gun will say it's going to be the same gun, isn't it?
I had other stuff that was stolen.
Not your duty gun, was it?
No.
Oh, that's good. Was it ever recovered?
Oh, it wasn't her duty gun.
I don't know. No, I don't think so. Not that I know of.
Never been notified?
No. Car's been broken into, yeah, several times.
Where did that happen? When your gun was taken?
Yeah, it was, now you mention it, it was back in 86.
Trying to remember. I'm sure you guys must know. Because my car was broken into in Ventura. I think in Santa Monica. I have relatives that live in Santa Monica and Venice.
Who lives there?
My uncle. Well, I had several uncles.
Several uncles, they're all dead. Again, tangent, family tangent. Yeah, I have relatives in Santa Monica and Santa Barbara and Ventura.
Yeah, could have been Santa Monica, Venice. My car's been broken into in Ventura before, so.
Is your mom still around, or? Yeah. Your dad?
Yeah, but I don't really have much of a relationship with my dad. So, I couldn't tell you where he lives if you want to know.
Oh, really?
No. Yeah, couldn't tell you.
Well, like I said, as we were looking at the case, and, you know, we had read the notes as far as from Sherri's friend saying you guys had problems or words. They got.
Oh, here we go. This is going to be a bit of a reveal now. He's going to go tell her what they know so far.
Heated. You know, and the reason we're asking you is...
Look how attentive she is. She's listening to every word of this, right?
Mentioned that an incident at her work had occurred, and they've also told us that an incident at her house occurred.
You know what?
And this is at her house during the period of time that they're married.
That's just not sounding familiar at all. I mean, you know what? That's just not sound. Again, if someone says that I was at her house and I had an incident with her, that just doesn't sound. Was John there? Did John say this happened? Because, and other people were there. I don't recall. I mean, it just doesn't sound, familiar.
And this is an incident where you showed up. You weren't supposed to show up, and things got heated.
At his house?
Yeah.
That just doesn't sound familiar. I mean, no. It's not sounding familiar.
So
not at all.
Now you're saying not familiar because it's just something you remember, or it's just.
You know what? I'd have to say I don't remember, because I don't remember. That doesn't sound familiar. I
mean, would you remember something like that in your life?
Well, I would think, but
sort of drama involving, the other woman type of thing.
Sure. Did you ever fight with her?
You mean like we fought?
Yeah. Did you ever duke it out with her?
No, I don't think so. I mean,
you'd remember that, right? That would be pretty.
Yeah, I would think so. I
pretty
mean,
specific.
Yeah, like I said, I mean,
dramatic.
obviously, it just doesn't sound familiar. I mean, what are they saying? So I fought with her. So now I'm getting the jump of the leap. Excuse me, I haven't eaten. They're saying, okay, I fought with her, so I must have killed her. I mean, come on. I mean, that's.
I mean, come on. I fought with her. I don't remember. It might have. I may have. So I killed her. No, come on.
Yeah. It just doesn't sound familiar. I mean, what are they saying? So I fought with her. So now I'm getting the jump of the leap. Excuse me, I haven't eaten.
Monica, how you doing, Monica? Good to see you.
They're saying, okay, I fought with her, so I must have killed her. I mean, come on. I mean, that's, I don't even know who these people are. I can't even say I met any of these people. I mean, it's insane. If it happened, I honestly don't remember it. That's all I can tell you. I mean,
but I don't know. I mean, would it be
what a weird way to answer a question. If it happened, I can honestly say I don't remember. I mean, does that sound believable? Think about someone says something about your life and you don't remember. You say, that didn't happen. That didn't happen, right? You don't say, if it happened, I couldn't tell you anything because I don't know that it happened and I don't remember if it did. Oh, how is she the worst liar in history? She's worse than Chris Watts. You know, if we brought Chris Watts in here and we said, listen, did you kill your wife? And he goes, I absolutely did nothing ever to those kids or that wife at all. Completely not. You know, it would be better. It was more believable than this.
Something you would remember, I mean, because it's, I don't know if any other intense incidents in your life that have occurred, I mean, you'd recall those, right? I mean,
Well,
like a use of force at work or a car crash, something you're involved in, you'd be like, yeah, I remember.
you would think I would remember. I mean, I would think if it was something that crazy. I mean, I can't say, you say, how many fights have you gotten into, you know, in your life? You know, I mean, a few at work.
Well, fights at work are kind of
you know,
different because we've all had uses of force or whatever. But
well,
I mean,
I didn't even have even a lot of those. I mean,
right, but
you know,
if you're actually, you know,
I mean, I played
like if Dan and I got mad at each other and we threw blows in the squad room, I mean, 20 years later, I would remember it. I mean,
I would think I would
pretty,
remember it, but that's what I'm saying. That's not sounding familiar to me at all. I mean,
let me ask you, I mean, throughout your life, you know, would you remember the number of fights you've been involved in? And I don't mean kind of like a bump or something, just a physical fight where everybody's hitting each other, scratching, pulling, you know, whatever.
maybe. I mean, I can't say I've been in a lot. You know, I played sports.
Yeah.
You know, you get into scuffles there, and
and you recall some of those, right? I mean, just
yeah, I can recall some of them.
Games get
You know,
intense.
but like I said, you saying this is just not ringing a bell.
Nothing.
I mean, but you know, I don't know what to tell you. It's just, that's just not ringing a bell to me.
It'd be something.
I would think I would remember.
Yeah.
I mean,
If you're in this,
I would think so too.
If you're in this other girl's house and words are exchanged, I mean, you figure you recall.
I would think.
Especially if it got physical, right?
Well, I would think.
And it's relating to, you know, a guy that you were dating, and but she's dating now, you know, and it's just kind of like a whole love triangle type of thing. I mean, you figure you'd remember that, right?
Well, I would think.
So.
I mean, I don't know what to still tell you.
Yeah. No, because I'm trying to.
You're not telling us much.
I'm looking at the notes, and these people are kind of. I mean, they're pointing the finger at you.
Well.
And.
I mean, that's not ringing a bell to me. So, you know, I don't know. You know, it's. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, that just sounds crazy to me.
Yeah. So you, offhand, you don't recall ever going into her house and having words and.
It's gone beyond the point where not asking for a lawyer. She should have asked for a lawyer 20 minutes ago. She should have just said, listen, I'm a cop. I know that you're interrogating me about this. I don't know what the fuck, where this is coming from, but I'm not saying anything else without a lawyer present. If you want to talk to me about this, get me a lawyer in here to talk to me first, because you know, I want to help. You know, I've been a cop for 26 years. I've been a cop longer than both of you, okay? So I know that you've got me in here under false pretenses. I don't like that. I find that underhanded. I want legal representation, and that's it. If you want to talk to me, lawyer, or I'm walking out of here right now. She should have said that 20 minutes ago.
Physically, you know.
No,
attacking her attacking you.
No.
Nothing like that?
No, I mean, that's, no.
Nothing?
No. No. Not at all.
Okay. Well, on some of the, on this case, you know, it occurred in 86, right? Detectives processed the scene, things of that nature. They did fingerprints and all that stuff. You know, you know the standard stuff. I mean, you've been doing this longer than I have.
Well, I don't know about that. I got 26 years on, going on 26.
19, so. But
19's still long enough to be pretty fucking good at your job, huh?
You know, as they processed everything, they did the best they could.
I love how he says that as well, because he says it like, oh, I'm less than you, but not by much. And I've been doing this for 19 years. Do you really get much better over the next 7 after 19 years? I don't think so.
At that time, and they looked at a lot of people and different things in this case. And you're right.
I mean, if you guys are claiming that I'm a suspect, then, you know, I got a problem with, you know.
Hey, yeah, wake up, Stephanie. They're claiming you're a suspect. They're about to reveal the DNA evidence that links you to the scene of the brutal murder, along with all of the witness testimony that says that you came to the hospital where Sherri worked in an evening dress and threatened her life if she didn't stay away from John. That's what they're about to reveal, Stephanie. Wake up, Stephanie.
You know, with that.
Okay.
Okay? So, you know, if you're doing this as an interrogation, you're saying, hey, I'm a suspect. Well, now I got a problem with, you know, now you're accusing me of this? Is that what you're saying?
We're trying to figure out what happened, Stephanie.
Well, I'm just saying, you know, do I need to get a lawyer if you're accusing me of this? You know,
you don't have to. I mean, you know, you're here of your own free will. I mean,
no, I know, but I mean,
you're not under arrest. You can walk out.
You can leave whenever you like.
Well, you know, I'm trying to give you some background of, you know, how I knew him, and now you're telling me that somebody's saying that we had this big old fight, and I don't even know what you're talking about. You know, and I don't want to, you know, get in trouble for something that I didn't even do, or you're saying I did something.
Okay.
Yeah, we understand.
I mean, how would you guys like it if the tables were turned on you?
I understand. No.
No, that's what we're telling you. I mean, you're free to go whenever you want. If this makes you uncomfortable and you want to,
now you're starting to make me uncomfortable.
The thing is, I mean, detectives did what they could at that time on the crime scene. Okay, and the burglary thing you're talking about, that is an angle that they looked at. I go, but now we're looking at everything else on the case because nobody was ever arrested on the case.
I don't know that or not.
Okay. Now, what we'd like to do is...
Yeah, we searched the entire area of Roscoe and DeSoto for a Mexican burglar, and we found nothing. We found nothing. There was no Mexican and no burglar.
Obviously, you know about all the DNA stuff and things of the nature that, you know, gets done on cases now.
Well, thank you, Carolyn. Yeah. But I don't know that that's true. We got real good snark coming out soon, though, guys, in some different formats. We got to spend some time on some different formats. So if anyone would want to support the channel, help us get there. Help us get to those different formats, because we need the time. Just got to get that time, you know. How do we get that time? Well, it's kind of counterintuitive, because I kind of have to put the live streams down for a few days and just focus on the format. And then we're going to be bringing it back home. Yeah, it's going to be great. I think it's going to be absolutely great. A new thing for True Crime Metrics, you know. Commentary only goes so far. And yeah, it's fun. And yeah, we all love it. And we get to watch crazy women like this get caught. And it's wonderful. But if anyone wants to support the channel, buymeacoffee.com/True Crime Metrics. Thank you, guys.
Nowadays. You know, if we asked you for a DNA swab, would you be willing to give us one?
Maybe. Because now I'm thinking I probably need to talk to a lawyer.
Okay.
I mean,
well,
because I know how this stuff works. Okay, don't get me wrong. You're right. I have been doing this a long time.
Yeah.
And I wish I had been recording this because now
it's okay, Stephanie. We have a video camera in this bag on your face, on your crazy, crazy face. Okay.
Sounds like, you know, there's, you know, you're selling these people say I'm fighting with her, and now it sounds like you're trying to, you know, I've been doing this.
I love how she says, I know how this works, and I wish I had been recording this. Well, if you knew how it works, you'd know that we have a video camera in this bag looking at you right now, recording all your 10 million facial spasms.
Long time.
Yeah,
we know.
Okay, and now it almost sounds like you're trying to pin something on me. No, now I got that sense.
Well, what do you get?
Yeah, I definitely got that sense, you know. Suddenly I have that sense. You're trying to pin this on me. You've planted my DNA at the scene. You travelled back in time with an evidence bag, and you put my DNA on that bite mark that just happens to match my teeth. What happened to my gun? It was stolen in Santa Monica in '86. What? You call that evidence? I want to speak to a lawyer.
On these cases, and you know it as well as I do, our job is to identify and eliminate suspects.
I can't believe this.
So, if we ask you to the point to give us a DNA sample, a buccal swab, so we can identify or eliminate you, would you be willing to do that?
Maybe.
Maybe. Honey, they already have your DNA. We've had a cop following you around, waiting for you to do something like discard a drink cup into a trash can outside a mall. And we picked it up, we put it in an evidence bag, and we sent it away for tests. It came back a perfect match to the DNA found on the bite mark of your murder victim. Okay?
Because I know this,
Well, that's where we're at, too. I mean, because right now, from...
Oh, we'll definitely cam up Vivian, for sure, yeah. But, yeah, we're almost... We've found the camera that we're going to get. Found the camera that we're going to get real soon. Probably very soon. But also, we want to change the format into kind of like, more a complete story, more production value. We got some edits going on at the moment. And also, these Adelson videos that we've got coming out, they're going to be very good, very, very good. So make sure anyone who's not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel, because we know you all love the Adelson content. And we've got some good theories, we've got some good ideas, we've got some good concepts that we're going to be introducing. But also, with Michael Dunn, I want to do the full story. Much more of a storytelling, rather than just watching a video altogether and commenting on it and pausing it. I think we can do more of a storytelling vibe, because, I think that's going to expand the reach of the channel, help us grow. But you can all help us grow right now by subscribing, liking, sharing, leave a comment, and, yeah. And consider becoming a member, a YouTube member, a Patreon member, a coffee member, or support us by buying us a coffee on buymeacoffee.com/True Crime Metrics. Oh yeah, merch. We've got our fantastic merch store open, guys. merch.truecrimemetrics.com. Yeah, please have a look at that.
Looking at the evidence, it's possible we may have some DNA at the location.
That's great.
And...
yeah, that's great. That's great. That'll obviously exonerate me, because I was never there or at the hospital. So it's great that you've got DNA. I love DNA. As a cop, I love DNA. Can we do tests? Can we measure the time? What else? Do you have a hair follicle? Well, I don't have any hair follicles, so it wasn't me.
We're going to do what we can to try to put this thing together. And your name's in the book. These people are pointing at you for whatever reason.
I don't know why. That's just crazy. I mean, that's absolutely crazy.
And it would be irresponsible on our part not to look at it.
I know. You guys have to do your job, and I guess I'm going to have to contact somebody. So...
that's fair.
I mean, because I know how this stuff works. I
Sure.
mean, I just can't believe it.
I mean, we understand that. I mean, if we were in your position, I mean, we would feel...
I guess she can't believe it, right? She knows... probably the minute she walks out the door, they're going to arrest her, which is what happens. And she knows that she's not going to go home tonight. All of what she's built up of a 26-year career of being, rising through the ranks and becoming the decorated law enforcement officer that she is of the arts department, whatever that is, and, the status, the respect. Not only is all of that going to be taken away? All of her colleagues, her subordinates, her superiors, her family, her friends, her husband, all of them are going to have a completely different view of her now. Not only that, but also when she goes to jail, she'll be going to jail as a cop in jail. And we know how fun that can be, right?
Feel the same way.
I just can't even believe it. I mean, it's just, I mean, I'm shocked. I'm really shocked that somebody would be saying that I did this. I mean, we had a fight, and so I went and killed her. I mean, come on.
I mean, come on, you know. I stormed into the hospital in an evening dress, threatened her life, and then she got killed, and now you think it was me? I mean, come on. Guys, come on. It was 1,000,000 years ago. Come on. We need to check all my pictures immediately. You have DNA at the scene? Great. Love DNA. I don't actually have any DNA.
That's...
Okay.
All right.
Well, thanks for giving me the courtesy. I wish I tape recorded it.
Thanks for your time.
Yeah.
Thanks for giving me the courtesy. I wish I'd taped recorded it. Yeah, okay. Don't worry about it, Stephanie. You'll get to see this at trial. Don't worry.
All right, Stephanie, take care.
All right.
This is crazy. Lego person says, how dumb were the cops at the time to not make a suspect? Well, you know, I mean, do I have any opinion of the LAPD in the mid-'80s? I'm not sure that the reputation is the most honorable of all law enforcement agencies out there. I mean, I think they just turned a blind eye a lot of the time, didn't they? I could be completely wrong. That's kind of the outside impression I have. And maybe that's based too much on movies, or maybe not. I don't know. It was very much a case of they weren't interested in even looking into one of their own, you know. Are they going to bring her back in? I think they bring her back in. They're just putting cuffs on her outside now.
This is absolutely crazy.
Have a seat, Stephanie.
This is insane.
Okay.
She genuinely can't believe it, though. When she's saying this is insane, this is absolutely crazy, those things, those phrases are true, right? It is insane that she's spent 23 years just out and about as a law enforcement officer, rising through the ranks, becoming respected, getting awards, being in the paper, giving a Picasso back to the mayor of Los Angeles, you know, and now she's in cuffs. She's in cuffs for murder, and the evidence is strong. And, you know, that decision she made when she was 26 years old to go and kill a love rival, just for payback, for anger, for hurt feelings, for bullshit, you know? That mistake that she made, that bad mistake, is not even important to her anymore. It's not like she would stand by that decision now. That was the stupid decision of a underdeveloped, emotionally disturbed moron, right? She just took it way too far than mistakes most people make, right? Way further than that. Way further than that. And now she's like, oh man, I really wish I didn't do that stupid mistake when I was a stupid kid.
Give me 1 second. Okay. Stephanie, you know you have the right to remain silent. Do you understand?
Yes.
Anything you say may be used against you in court. Do you understand?
Yes.
You have the right to the presence of an attorney before and during any questioning. Do you understand?
She should say, I'll have to check my pictures in answer to all of these questions. The rights. You have the right to remain silent. Do you understand? I'll have to check my pictures. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. I have a friend named Schmieder. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed to represent you free of charge. It's not ringing a bell.
Understand?
Yes.
If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you free of charge before any questioning if you want. Do you understand?
Yes.
Do you want to talk to us right now?
No.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
This is crazy.
Okay.
This is I'm like in shock. I'm totally in shock.
I'm in shock. I'm totally in shock.
Incredibly long road, but some stuff's come up, so over...
Oh, Sherri Papini, another California case. Maybe we should spend some time in the Golden State for a while, guys. But I don't know, you know. I don't know. It's not as fun as Wisconsin or Florida. What are we doing next? Well, I guess we gotta focus on our Adelson content that's about to be released. There's several videos coming out on the Adelson. Subscribe to the channel, guys. But then what are we doing after that? I think we're gonna go into maybe Trevor Summers or Michael Dunn or maybe we should do Dalia DiPolito. Have a seat, Stephanie. Yeah, I love that line, Lenny. This is crazy. This is crazy. I'm in shock. I'm literally in shock. That's 2 mistakes, Donna. Yeah, are there any videos of Stephanie Lazarus in court? Let's have a look. I know that Stephanie Lazarus. I know that there was the victim impact statement of John Rutten. John Rutten. There's the verdict. I don't know. There's really kind of not that many videos about her. Let's, what about this one? Hang on, guys, hang on. I don't even know what this is.
Matter, is that correct? Yes, Your Honor. All right, please provide the verdict to the bailiff. All right, the clerk will please read the verdict.
People of the State of California versus Stephanie Eileen Lazarus. Case number BA 357423. We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant, Stephanie Eileen Lazarus, guilty of the crime of murder of Sherri Rasmussen in violation of Penal Code Section 187A, a felony, as charged in Count 1 of the information. We further find the murder was of the first degree. We further find the allegation that in the commission of the above offense,
First degree, that's the worst kind there is.
the defendant, Stephanie Eileen Lazarus, personally used a firearm, namely a handgun, within the meaning of Penal Code Section 12022.5, subsection A1 to be true. This 8th day of March in the year 2012, juror number 9, foreperson. Is this your verdict? So say you one, so say you all?
Yes. All right, please poll the jurors.
Juror number one.
All right, we don't need to hear the jury.
A Los Angeles police detective has pleaded not guilty to the 1986 murder of her ex-boyfriend's wife. Stephanie Lazarus remains in custody without bail, pending another hearing in 2 weeks. That's when a judge is likely to rule on the prosecution's request for dental impressions from the detective. A hearing will also be set to determine if there's enough evidence for her to stand trial. Sherri?
Amanda, it's Trevor Summers. He was found guilty. He was pro se, representing himself, at least for half of the trial, where he cross-examined his ex-wife, the woman that was victimized in his crimes, which just has such an interesting dynamic, interesting story, crazy court footage, fantastic judge Christopher Sabella. Yeah, it's a good case to cover. Looking forward to that. Make sure everyone subscribes to the channel to watch the fantastic metrics coverage of the Trevor Summers case.
Sherri Rasmussen, a hospital nursing director, was found shot to death at this Van Nuys condo by her husband of 3 months. After the murder, the victim's family told investigators that Lazarus had been harassing Rasmussen.
They told of times when Stephanie Lazarus appeared at Sherri Rasmussen's place of work at Glendale Adventist and told Sherri Rasmussen, "If I cannot have John, nobody can."
But authorities thought burglars who had attacked another woman in the area were responsible for the crime. Lazarus was recently connected to the 23-year-old case through a DNA match of saliva taken from bite marks on the victim.
Oh man, I bet she wishes she just didn't bite the victim. Maybe she would have gotten away with it.
A veteran police officer was taken into custody
Something real personal about biting your victim, isn't there? Savage.
last month by colleagues who worked across the hall from her. Police say Lazarus was an expert on counterfeit art and married a fellow officer who knew nothing about the murder. Prosecutors say they haven't decided if they'll seek the death penalty. Sandy Kozel, The Associated Press.
Yeah, Sherri fought back.
I can't think of one single example where a pro se defendant did him or herself any good at all by choosing self-representation.
Welcome to Law and Crime's Judge Reacts. Introducing Judge Liz.
Judge Liz? Judge Liz needs a better microphone, like True Crime Metrics, with the clear, honey tones. Crystal clear honey tones. I think that about wraps it up, guys. There's really not much supporting videos about Stephanie Lazarus. I was looking for John Rutten's victim impact statement because I just don't like him. He doesn't come across well at all. Yeah, okay, we'll wrap it up for tonight, guys. It's 4 in the morning. Yeah, okay. We'll be back. We'll be back real soon. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll be back Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, maybe Friday, maybe Saturday, but, you know, we'll see. But we'll definitely be back tomorrow with some other stuff, some other Fantastic Metrics stuff, coverage. Suggestions, guys. Please do join Discord. Please do join. Well, you know, let us know on Discord what you want to see, what you want covered. Email truecrimemetrics@gmail.com. Merch store, merch.truecrimemetrics.com. buymeacoffee.com/truecrimemetrics. Please do consider supporting the channel. Helps us out a great deal, guys. And we will see you soon. We will see you soon. I think it's going to be Wendy Adelson tomorrow. Finally, if I get the time. Even if I don't have the time, we're just going to do it with whatever we have. It doesn't have to be perfect. All right. Catch you later, guys.